I mean, we were kind of picking it up like, okay, well, this map pool has really worked out in the side of MIBR, right? Definitely showed it. On Icebox, I mean, that was just an absolute sweep.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, do have words. I broke the bracket, unfortunately, so you guys are going to have to blame me for that. Pero es okay, papi. Let's move on, shall we? And talk about Sentinels, because they are looking to make Toronto and get that redemption from Bangkok, because we all know that was not the result that Sentinels would have wanted there, Emily. But you know what? They also were able to get that momentum by, well, Ben Affleck. A.K.A. my Bruce Wayne, A.K.A. Holden McNeil. But seriously, though, Emily, this Sentinels team looked good.
No, they look so strong. Like, I want to highlight, actually, Bang. He really impressed me in these past few matches. Like, it's been insane.
Yeah.
It's been so nice to see him pop off. And also, yeah, the Affleck buff, what can you even say? Like, that is just aura. That is aura.
Smoochy booches, you know? I mean, that's if you guys watch anything from Kevin Smith, but, you know, it's okay. You guys don't watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
No, I've seen that.
You know, Dogma?
I know.
I just
Chasing Amy?
That's
Chasing Amy?
90% of our audience, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine.
No one knows about what this guy's talking about.
Go watch Dogma. It's a classic. Anyway, now, of course, Sentinels are looking strong. But here's the thing. Let's take a look at this map pool here, because, Bren, some stuff is kind of sticking out a little bit here.
Now, this would have been nice with some percentages, but there's a point to make here, which is the Sen are really only winning on 3 maps right now. Haven, Split, and Pearl. So the point I kind of wanted to lead in with this is that there is a major win con for Cloud9 again to kind of work this map veto in their favor. Now, we're not going to know until a bit later on whether they can do that. But Cloud9, on the inverse, they've been playing as many maps as they possibly can. They've been spread out. They've been trying to essentially get themselves tested on a variety of different maps, and they've got good looks on a lot of them right now that Sen are looking pretty, you know, essentially lost on, I would say, to be honest. They've been losing some hard maps over the course of stage 1 so far. So for me, it's like, yes, Sentinels have been looking better and better and better. Don't get me wrong. Like, we were talking about that. They've been improving it a lot, but their map pool so far seems to be quite small. And to be honest, to make it deep in playoffs, you've got to have a deeper map pool than that. You're going to be tested in a best of 3, and if you want to win it all, you got to you know, get yourself set up, to be honest, to be playing in best of 5s as well. So Cloud9 have it in here. They have it in with the map veto. We're not going to know until later on whether or not they're going to be able to find that in, but hey, listen, it's there for Cloud9's taking as long as they don't choke.
Yeah. I want to inject chaos into both sides
of
the equation here, because you take a look at what you were just talking about, at the maps and how it feels like Sentinels are only winning on certain maps, which is true. But I take a look at the situation for Cloud9 on the maps that Sentinels aren't playing. Their win number's pretty small as well.
Yeah, we can ignore the numbers as well.
But the numbers, Bren is the numbers.
Let's just do that.
So I look at that and I go, okay, well, hang on. Cloud9 aren't necessarily strong on those maps that Sentinels are struggling on either. But now the other side of the equation, you take a look at the teams that Sentinels have been able to best. And yes, Sentinels have looked better. I think Narrate has really come into form, blah, blah, blah. All those things, great. They've beaten 2G. They've beaten Loud. They've beaten 100 Thieves. And then they've beaten EG.
Yeah.
Right, so let me just pour, like, gas all over this thing.
That son of a gun right there.
On your point, like, they have found success at least one time on every single map except, what, Icebox, I think? No, even then, they found some sort of success, so...
True,
I don't know.
also true.
You gotta feel pretty good if you are a C9 fan. This is probably the best form that you'd want from C9 heading in to the playoffs here. But let's actually get a little bit more words from Cloud9 and hear from the assistant coach who's standing by with Liz.
Here with Googly, the assistant coach of Cloud9. Now, Cloud9 has performed, or played, every map in the pool publicly. Sentinels have managed to stay away from Ascent and Fracture. Does it worry you at all that all of your maps are public and able to be reviewed by the team?
No, not at all. I think it just makes their vetoes a bit harder for them, so we're very happy with that.
All right, well, best of luck. And just look at that.
Hook a brother up with that shirt right now. I gotta be out there for my ball brother, okay? My favorite coach, Emmy.
Well, the Oxy one was last week, too.
That's
I mean, they've got the whole line.
Sure. They just have a shirt press there. They're just making shirts on the fly. Wow, look at that. That's a business in of itself. Now, of course, folks, today we are in for a treat. You know why, guys? You know why it's going to be so delicious?
Because you're back on the desk?
Oh, thank you, Papa. Pero, no, it's because of Oxy versus freaking Zekin. Oh, my God. Put this in my body every single time, little Emily. This is some good stuff injected into the bloodstream. I'm all about this. I want to see what we're going to get because both players are playing out of their freaking minds.
Yes, no, I'm a big Zekin fan. I think he's a very consistent duelist, but I really want to speak on Oxy here because going up against, I believe his last thing was G2, where they almost won that third map. You know, the first map, they kind of got stomped. Oxy wasn't performing the best, and then their coach just fight them. And if you go into map 2 on Haven, he did exactly that. And I think if Oxy keeps up that same disrespect and that same confidence, we could, you know, see a best of 3 going.
I'm just looking forward to both players disrespecting each other.
Yeah.
Low key, Oxy is putting up numbers, and I think his play has improved so much individually, because it used to be the case that when he was like coming into franchising, I mean, the guy was overheating like every other round. I mean, he's mechanically. He's instilled a lot of discipline into himself, either through his team environment or himself as well, just getting better as a player. He's now, I think, laying claim to potentially being one of the best duelists, if not the best duelist in America. He's up there with players like Zekin, who he's up against today, Aspas, Jorgamo, players like this that put up high-caliber results, have lifted trophies before. He's making a name for himself, honestly, at this point in time. He's really developed as a young player. So, I mean, I'm just hyped for this matchup. It's going to be explosive.
No, and good company to have, for sure, Doug, right? Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I mean, 1,000%. If that's part of the conversation you're in, it certainly bodes well for how you're doing in your career, and honestly, as a reflection of how the team is doing. Guys, this is a Cloud9 team that we've talked about, and they have their playoff woes, and they choke when it matters, and this, that, and the other, but I get a different feeling about this team heading into this round of playoffs. This is not the Cloud9 of old.
Yeah, and look, while there are a lot of good things to be excited for Cloud9, there is one player on the other side that, Doug, you mentioned briefly, and it's Nare. This guy has come into his own. It is really scary to see how well he's gelled with the squad.
I think now that Sentinels have solidified these roles, it's helped Narrate immensely, and they're also actively working on something that they know is a problem as well, which is kind of like the vibes internally. Because I think you can tell that they've been making moves with that one as well. They've released a lot of behind-the-scenes vlog footage. Sentinels have been quite candid, I think in terms of their approach and their kind of attitude towards the game. And it was like a glaring weakness for me watching them early on, like Narrate would kind of, get tilted very easily, start banging on desks. That's a poisonous atmosphere to be having, but he's kept it in check steadily over the course of stage 1, and they've locked down his role more, so he's having more consistency as well. That is a recipe for a win, I think. And for Sentinels themselves, I've opened up the question of kind of like, okay, well, their map pool wasn't looking too hot, but in terms of like the actual individual gameplay and the players themselves, they're on the right track actually to building, again, another title, I guess, another squad that is going to do much better than they did at Bangkok.
Yeah, no, excellent points there, Bren. Well, let's actually check in with Elizabeth here and hear from Bang from Sentinels.
Now, your opponent today is C9, Bang, and they seem to be making greater strides every single time they play. Are you worried that you were not prepared for their performance today, considering they surpass expectations every single time?
To be honest, I'm not too worried about it. I feel like we're a good enough team that if we just play at our own caliber and like the level that we're usually playing at, I think we'll be perfectly fine. I'm not too worried about how well they're going to show up.
Well, best of luck today.
Hey, and look, I respect that. I think it's great. I'm happy for you, Bang. But here's the problem. You got Vic on the other side, okay? And this kid is making a case for Rookie of the Year. This kid is nasty. And the combination of Oxy, everything that's happening there with C9, it feels like it's a perfect storm, Emily, of pieces that are kind of fitting in place here for C9.
No, it is. I'm literally a Vic fangirl. Like, I am such a big fan. He's probably been my favorite controller player to watch throughout this whole stage. He isn't scared to take fights. Like, he's willing to take those fights, but not also over-aggress. Like, he still knows, like, to stay in his lane, but it's been scary just seeing him kind of swing and win all the fights that he can.
Just go for it, right? And it's not necessarily something that you would have expected here, Doug, but now you got this, Vic, you have that firepower from him. You have the firepower from Oxy, two people who are bringing that to the table. And let's not forget, the rest of the team that obviously is, I mean, Zepla's on this freaking squad, for goodness sake. So really, when you look at it, you got to feel pretty good about this C9 team with these pieces in place.
Yeah, again, I think a completely different tale from the Cloud9s of old. Right, as we've seen coming into the playoff runs. I think one of the other guys that we haven't talked about very much, who definitely deserves his praise and definitely has grown even just in his time on this roster, is Mitch, and the calling that he's provided into this. I mean, it's been beautiful, and it's not just calling. He's been fragging. He's been a leader from the front. I think he is what this team has needed.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, this is going to be an excellent matchup here. We got Sentinels versus Cloud9. Winner moves on to the tournament. Loser goes down to the lower bracket. Let's go ahead and bring out our two teams. Elizabeth, the floor is yours, homie.
Riot Games Arena, it's time for a classic North American SmackDown. Make some noise for Cloud9!
You can call it a smackdown, a barn burner, whatever you want to call it, whatever terminology, it's going to be a good one, folks. And C9 are coming into this one with the most confidence that I've ever seen the roster going into playoffs, Bren, and it gives me a lot of hope that this C9 team has what it takes. What are you seeing, Doug?
Well, we talk about the swagger out from Imi.
I didn't see it.
I wonder if he didn't want to do
Yo,
that.
Imi with the chain, brother. Show me the hamburger. Let's go.
Chest hair.
Show me the ground beef up there in the chest. You know what I'm saying? Hit me with it.
Honestly, I had questions about why Googly was doing the arrival interview.
Now I know why.
Makes sense, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I love it.
This roster, though, I think has been, at least for me, this is the most confident I've ever been in them.
Sen City, let me hear you make some noise for your Sentinels!
Now, a big thing that we have not acknowledged is, well, the six man, the crowd, you know, the audience that are all here to cheer for Sentinels. I mean, you saw in the piece earlier today when Elizabeth was asking who do you think is going to win. Everyone said Sentinels. So, Emily, there's not just the pressure of them to perform, but there's also the fan pressure as well.
No, there is. And one thing that I want to highlight that I saw on Twitter is that Nere, when he started popping off, he was wearing this jacket, and now it's like they do not let him take it off. He has worn it every single match since he's like started popping off.
Bro,
He's like sweating in it. Hasn't cleaned it in weeks. You know, smells like passion fruit.
I want to quickly touch back on something I was saying about Sentinels earlier because I brought up their strength of record.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, yeah, they're 4-1, but against who? I will say, if there's any team that has been successful against lower competition, and the questions are around can they deliver against stronger teams, Sentinels is one that I'm inclined to look at and go, yeah, okay, I think they could.
Yeah, well, here's your map layout. You got Ascent, Pearl, and if necessary, Icebox. Start there with Ascent first,
Ascent as our opener. Now, when Cloud9 played this in the past, we only got to really see the defense side. They're going to have to start on attack. But in terms of the map pool overall, as we were already pointing out, Split, Pearl, and Haven, the maps that Sentinels basically have only been winning on right now, they have two of them removed from the map pool immediately. So if this goes the distance, I got to say the advantage goes to Cloud9 again, but it all hinges on whether or not this opening attack side from Cloud9 actually has something behind it. Because you can put all the time in the world on your defense half, and it looks absolutely sublime, but it matters not if you can't figure out how to work it on attack. That's my big question, I think, leading into this series, and that's what I want answered.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a lot of questions on if we go the distance.
Okay.
Pearl is a really strong map for both teams. Like 3-0, 3-1, something like that. They both have been really successful at it. Icebox is a massive question mark for both teams.
That could maybe be what was the thought process going into that draft, right? Because we also saw Haven kind of get pushed all the way out to the end. It almost felt like both teams were trying to bait one another to pick it, and instead we ended up in Icebox. What do you make of this layout here?
Dude, honestly, I don't even know. I was expecting maybe a third map would be Split or something, or even as a second map. So seeing Ascent kind of completely threw me off. Going into Pearl, looking at their past comps, they both had success, but I do enjoy Sentinels comp more with the single duelist versus, Cloud9 where they run the double duelist Sova.
Yeah, well, we'll see if this works out for Oxy and company here, that double Sensi comp.
Their defense is probably one of the best halves
hold down
of Valorant I've ever seen, to be honest, on this map. I mean, that's a very high praise, but you can tell how much time they put into it because of how often they're changing around the defensive setups. It all comes down to the attack side, though. So Sen they picked right. They're playing defense first here on Ascent as well to get the chance to show us what they've got.
Oh boy, and we got our, again, these compositions, at least from Sentinels, nothing really all that crazy. Going to be keeping those eyes on the jet there for Sentinels, see how Zekin and company is going to fare in this one. Certainly going to be pressure here. You can see our team also working with the team, or with the players, excuse me, down on stage, so we'll get that sorted out.
I see your ears being moved around. I start worrying. I start worrying.
No, it's all good. We'll get this sorted and we'll jump right into the action.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but we've talked so much about how successful Cloud9 are on the defensive side of Ascent because of this comp, this double Senti comp. Brent, you mentioned how quickly how versatile their looks are. They can have double Senti setups on one side. They can hit tiles crunches. The playbook is so deep, and you might look at that and go, oh yeah, it's a double Senti comp. It's really easy. Let me go ahead and tell you, tried running it on our Premier team. Was not as easy as it looked.
Yeah?
We went like 1-1 that week, and we lost every single scrim.
Yep.
It's hard to do. It's really hard to do.
What were the weaknesses that you had identified with it?
I don't think we have enough time. I don't think we have enough time.
Or were you the weakness, Doug?
let's just say I learned a lot about how difficult it was to run this comp. It's not an easy vanilla comp to run. I think there's a lot of depth to this, and there's a lot of complexity to running it well.
Good points made there for sure, Doug. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the action. Your casters, this one, look, guys, we're around the same age, so I find them relatable and not at all scary. It's Riv and Van Silly. Not scary at all.
Thank you very much, Desk, and we have an amazing matchup for you here. Two teams who historically have very different playoff trajectories. Sentinels finding themselves always going towards the end, making it far enough to be at the international stage, but C9 not so much.
Exactly. C9, their story is like amazing during the regular season, and then just crashing out during the playoffs. And I love at least now going into this best of 3 in the upper brackets of this playoff. It's actually the first time that these two teams face against each other in 2025, and C9 coming with a whole different iteration with 2 new players versus when they played in the Red Bull home grounds during the offseason.
Absolutely.
Also on Ascent, Brenton mentioned it, one of the best defensive sides we've seen out of Cloud9 on this map. But they start off on the attack where they haven't been tested yet, and Sentinels coming out with a composition of the KO Teo that has been a pain point to a lot of teams so far. And C9 will kick things off in his piss around on the attack side, all grouped up to try to slowly work here towards this A site.
Yeah, looks like they leave a little bit of the Vice util for Sentinels at defense B and look to focus this A. They've chosen correctly to start things off. Stuck behind the wall, stuck behind a bit of utility here. Now we see Sen trying to get back into sight as Net takes one down. They're still just milling about, getting themselves sorted out here. And it looks like 3 from Sentinels are ready to crash back in once Heaven gets ready.
Just gotta wait for this wall too, so once they knife this out, they'll have to start popping out through this door, but there's still a sonic sensor on the other side that could stop them.
Just there, Oxy looking to provide that noise. They get stuck just a little bit. Oxy taking the fight, has protection over the shoulder, but Zekin's gonna be able to trade. They're playing this so calm. 3 in hell is a little scary, but they do still have Mitch on the outside, so they don't have to worry. The crossfires here should be enough. Celsius, John Cutie getting that Ghost in the Classic to do some big damage here, but it's up to the Vive Merchant. Can he do it? One jumping right click, and there's going to be a tight timer on this defuse. That's Mitch, that's the Classic, and that's C9 with a pistol round.
C9 off to a great start, and again, not being tested on the attack side, you can still see that they have good utility on the execution for the 8-side attack. Although, one thing that's been good for Sentinels is, of course, the IGLing coming out from John Cutie, who's actually pivoting away from the tail and playing a KO on this map here of Ascent. But he had a good read in the very beginning. 4 players stacked in heavily towards the A side, leaning towards Zelsis' wall for information towards B so they can play the retake. The read was good, but the utility was even better for Cloud9 when they blocked out all the entries that Net had. Buying the wall, going for the net, and trying to stop them this round. As Sentinels are trying to be aggressive in the very beginning, and look at how good that net is to counter. Already grabbing him forward, and not giving a chance here for Sentinels to start off with a trap play.
Sen guessing site to site here for round 1 and 2 as they organize around B. You can see it's very light on util, just a Razor Vine out for now. And just the lurk coming in from Vic.
Definitely still a lot of respect given to Cloud9. Sentinels does have refreshable utility that could be very good to snuff out the second wave of C9, who potentially is also waiting for the grab net back from Net to activate. So already making a lot of noise at the very beginning of the round. Why not? Let's grab the orb. Let's min-max here on the side for Cloud9 and try to figure out Sentinels are going to be a little bit antsy and over-rotate. So you're still seeing here the rotation coming back from the spawn side between both the Yoru and the Omen.
Yeah, I like the fake they can produce with this.
Exactly.
A little bit of noise, action, the flash, and the ruse. The play is actually going to be at B. They get caught right in the 0 point for this, too, so that helps sell it a little bit more.
Actually, the knife only seeing Oxy. They know that the hit's going to be towards B. It was a bad fake, so they have the perfect stack for this so far.
30 seconds left.
Right back. Net on 1, but Zekin will trade here. He's still in towards the back of the site. They find Zeppa finally, as the whole death ball finally is able to come through the archway at B. Looks like a pop flash wants to come through. Zekin's going to use that for help, but they can get the kill onto Oxy.
Weapon upgrades as well. Pop flash trying to delay.
Yeah, weapon's down. That was a huge upgrade. It's going to be the stinger for Zekin. The second round here for Sentinels. And they pull the rug out from under C9.
Great eco round for Sentinels. Again, we talk about the good reads coming out from John Cutie. When the knife only spots Oxy towards A main, when double footsteps are being thrown as an attempt for a fake, they knew exactly that the second wave hit was going to be towards this B site. And they have Util, refreshed Util coming out from Mateo. The crossfire is being set up. And look how clean Zekin looks here on a 1v2. Stinger brought up, classic round purchased by Sentinels. And Zelsis is standing up tall. Look at the buy from Cloud9 in this time. They get a plant on the first 2 rounds. They want to invest into this one.
One of the big things Emmy said between games when playing G2 was that
Don't give them
they
respect.
have to get ahead of the team in the server, mostly against G2 because they win before they even get in. So it's about C9 staying in control, staying in front of Sentinels, and that buy here hopefully helps them do this. They spread the map out even more for this round here. A lot of time to work when they're already meeting a little bit of rebuttal here from Sentinels.
And you can already see the buy coming out from Zekin in round number 3, going with the Outlaw. And this is something that C9's known for. Playing a lot of regen buys, regen shields. And he's just going to post up very easily to get the first blood onto Zeppa. So that forces now Cloud9 to stay as a group and try to find the right timing to hit towards this A side. Util to start spamming towards tree.
Annihilation prepared,
Got one.
thrown out to sight.
Oh, he missed.
Oh, Nat on the right side as they start to trade back and forth. The Stingers just seem to be the higher prio weapon right now that's doing the damage. Plant on Jenny and a quick shot from Zekin. Always good for the one, but is the second one in the chamber ready for another member of Cloud9. 3v2, blades come out. Zekin tries to break the crosshairs, but he's going to be the one that also collects the kills as Vic is playing huge. Vic, the unsung hero since the Red Bull home ground, since he joined the squad. Can he collect this one over New Jersey's finest?
The read. And again, it's a one-shot with the Outlaw. Good read by Vic to not get pulled by the diffuse on the fake from Zekin.
Fakes on fakes here from both of them into the site. One shot miss. Vic's gonna get it. He's gonna get a 3K on the round and enough to take it for C9.
Again, Vic coming into this playoffs as the highest rated controller player in the VCT Americas and proving his point right here on a 2 versus 3 when Zekin has Bladestorm, when a team's trying to flood within the site. And he even loses a teammate in the process towards Generator. He still picks up the 1v3 towards the end.
Jeez.
We're going to have a highlight reel of Red Bull clutches in this series. They talked about this game being intense on the desk, and we're already witnessing this now.
It seems like when you call upon Vic, he steps up to the table in these situations. C9 benefits from it just about every series. Back towards the A site. C9 is being very quick with their attacks, knowing when they could possibly go for the throat, but they're not prepared. They don't understand what Sentinels can bring to the table. A flawless round 4.
And you know when you're going to play against Cloud9, you will have some very fast rounds. Blink and you miss it. The push from C9, unfortunate miss from Net, who couldn't get the kill into Generator.
Jeez.
But look at the crossbar setup. And you know, here in the Riot Games Arena so far, they've been loud here for the fans. On Sen City's side and also for Cloud9.
Yeah, the desk was talking about it, that 6th player of the team, the crowd. You have to feel like you're always on their home turf, even in the same home area. And that's for Sentinels right now. The cheers are there. But don't forget it, the Cloud9 fans are ready to support them as well, as we're all tied up here 2-2. And this low buy is going to mean C9 goes hunting in mid for a little something extra.
They're crossing over. Big flash, but they couldn't push forward to get the pick. Although Nat stuck through.
Nat clears one and actually pushes Zekin off his line. They have the front side of B now to slowly creep in once the vines go down. But they have to be worried about how fast Sentinels is going to close back in on this.
They have to tempo quick. Zekin has nothing but the shorty.
The Guardian pickup for Oxy. Straight through dimensional drift into the round. Zekin's going to say no. 2 to the back of the site, and he clears it up, making sure it's secure. Now it's just finding out where the safety could be. A third one as he turns around just on his 6. He's able to get the capitalization of the kill, but bang is all they need to secure the round now as we go to 6. Punch for punch.
What great positioning from Zekin moving towards the back of that B site. A great read in the very beginning for Cloud9. You're trying to go for the trades. You're on this broken buy. The best weapon that you had was a Guardian. So you pull out the Steel Guardian out from Zephyr. You're weakening the weapon towards the back, but it's a shorty in the back of the site. Gets 2 picks, somehow already a second Bladestorm. He's already 1 away from a 3rd one. within 6 rounds.
Track them down.
And it was a head-to-head between Zekin and Oxy, but so far it's Zekin writing the story for Sentinels in the series.
Absolutely. We were looking to where the octane would come from right now, and Zekin is fueled by the team. What a play towards tiles. Armageddon comes through as well, and Cloud9 didn't even get a chance to breathe on this round.
This was a bye for Cloud9 in round number 6. Zelstis is fired up right now for Sentinels. But Sentinels giving a little taste of C9's own medicine. The aggression coming out on a B-side attack. The crunch towards tiles followed by the Armageddon. Definitely Emmy's calling a timeout here.
I think it's one of the things that is surprising all of us is that, you know, C9 would come out hard and you wonder if Sentinels can match it, but now Sentinels is going a step further and turning that up even more against C9, who won. They get that flaw. They get the second round or third eco that they had against Sentinels because they think, oh, we can go easy on this round. They're just going to have classics. But Sentinels have a plan for everything right now. And once they get the lead, it looks like they have a plan to very much keep control of the lead.
And I love that Emmy is working double shift here, coaching Cloud9 and going clubbing right after.
Yeah. When did he join the Mafia? This is crazy.
But he's been good under timeout calls. So trying to understand what Sentinel's currently doing, they've been having good reads on stacks. Crossfire is being set up, and when you're playing aggressive against Sentinels, Sentinels are down for that. They're down to go down and dirty and trade. It was an issue that they kind of had towards Bangkok, but something that they started building up here towards Split 1 to see, you know, the level of comfort that they brought last year for the Sentinels run. And again, look at that. Haven't been playing since Champs of 2024. On the defensive side, it's getting money, but there are pulling out on top of it. With a lot of players alive at the end, they have so much money to work here in this round number 7 and further on into the half.
And there's no tape for Sentinels on this. They could feel very comfortable from scrims on what Ascent has to bring is one of the maps we've yet to see them on here. They still feeling comfortable at this point.
You're not seeing for Cloud9 after this timeout, though, that are trying to go for something aggressive. Something that actually under MCE's helm in the past used to be something that C9 loved to do during these timeouts with stinger buys.
Yeah. The wildly high eco percentage, being able to win all their low buy rounds because of just playing it like a regular round, how serious they took it.
And already Sentinels winning here in terms of utility trade. You were trying to activate this wall from Oxy just to try to bait it out so you could potentially go for a better split later on or try to sell some sort of fake. And with the wall still staying up, it seems as though with the minute mark, they kind of just want to stick together and go for the death ball. We talked about a stinger buy that wasn't for a full team, but at least you have it on Zeppa and Net.
And that wall is so hard to break. You have to put yourself in such an awkward position even to jump it as Zekin's ready for one.
Plays for him again.
Always getting that first vision and happy to back into sight to just set up his own little garrison, his own little way to protect everything, even if he doesn't have help. He's done a great job at it so far. And the Vines and the rest of it still hold him at bay, but Mitch just swings out with a drive-by on the Sheriff. That's everybody in sight lane. Now it has to be Sentinels to react.
Jessup still gets caught by the Annihilation.
Oh, they're not going to get that back either. Wall's going to go up to protect it. That's Zelsis going down. And now they just have a few more. Still weapons coming in. C9 has to play this smart, but they're actually not watching the angles from a distance here. Trade 2 for 1 as Oxy tries to stop the bleeding there, but he goes down as well. Can they get this one shut down? Mitch and John Cutie both one shot to the weapons they have in hand right now. And that's going to be Mitch again with another one. A 3K to get the clutch.
Another thrifty round in this series, going back and forth for both teams. So what a nice call by Cloud9 coming out from the timeout, despite not bringing the wall up. Look at the util that was used in to enter towards that site. The net grabs Zelsis, the paranoia blinds on top of lane, and even the Annihilation coming out from net forces then Bang to cancel his ult because he's out in the open towards the back of the site. You just come out of from the shadows, you get annihilated, and that's it. So he had to cancel to get so much space, and they're in good position for the post plan.
And what is it? A thrifty for C9, playing those ecos smart again. Opt for Zekin as they try to set up some hard lines here and shut down the speed of C9.
We know here in these gun rounds so far, telling the story for Cloud9, it's been shut down right away by Sentinels. This time there's a little bit more room to breathe. An execution for a split towards the B side, combined with the Hunter's Fury towards the back of the site. It looks like we're stalling just for a bit.
Okay, trade for trade. We're at a 4-4. There's Narrate and Oxy that have fallen here, so it should be still pretty easy for both teams to defend and get into sight on the retakes. They don't know Zekin's back there. Can they pinch him in? Oh my gosh, the Zealous Assault comes out, just gets everybody to scatter here, and that is going to be tough. Sorry, that was Zeppa's as they go down in the round, and Zekin gets the final kill. The operator's online, and now Cloud9 have something to worry about even more so than just taking sites.
We talked about the buy rounds for Cloud9 being immediately shut down, and it's been kind of like the story for Cloud9 on their attack side so far. But getting 3 rounds out of 9, playing a double Sentinel comp. You kind of got to take it for now.
Jeez. I was looking at what Zeus' result. He just got more kills on the round anyways. It almost looked like he didn't even use his that round. All right. So where do they go now, Vance? Back and forth on the rounds we go. There's still some money for C9, but only the hero rifle for Oxy.
That's the only thing right there working for Oxy, and they're trying to use it towards the side. At least it trades out, but Mary gives the advantage for Sentinels at the very beginning. Now the weapon's out. They can't really pick it up yet. Unless they're able to push here, that person right back, and that's going to be Neri. Thankfully, the L drone pings them, and they could salvage this weapon and maybe turn it around once again for Cloud9 on another Thrifty.
Sentinels are starting to gain a little bit more map control here, getting their orb grabs, getting the early fights in their favor, and they are not wasting time to make sure they have more info on the extremities from this. Any way to further shut down C9. Still 3 members alive, and this lurk could get sketchy here towards mid from Zeppa.
Let's try to find a timing. That's twice that happens here for Sentinels, leaving a wall all the way back to prevent a push, but 2 times it's been punished. They got to change this wall now for Sentinels, but if not for Cloud9, they're pitching in towards this A site. They have a good read.
And a beautiful shot from John Cutie to start shutting this down. Narrate just on the edge, and they know they're going away from the operator. They're trying to pin down the rifles, and they just have one more inside A site now. The IGL, John Cutie trying to call the shots here, can't do it without the help of Zekin, and the operator now has to retake the site from 2 members of Mitch and Zeppa.
If I'm Zekin, I'm going for this. On fire so far, it doesn't even matter if he gets pinged out, dashes forward.
He does one. Zekin already pulls the acrobatic. Zekin uses A site like a jungle gym and sits down Cloud9.
What is going on with Zekin today? This guy's unstoppable. How does he get a 360 shorty kill onto the first guy and still has time to go for a quick scope?
And he is pushed into that play. That wasn't his decision.
Exactly.
He said, oh, I'm about to get pinged by a dart. Let me quickly come up with a play to kill these 2 players. Like, instantaneous from this guy. Look at that. Zousis is out of his chair. You know when you're even getting your teammates hyped up from plays they're not expecting. You're doing it right. And Zekin is here to play today.
17, 4, and 1. And you want him in fort positions, he's getting an op kill. You want him to anchor towards a B site, he's going to get some pace. You want him to clutch on a retake? Zekin's your man today.
They leave him over at B. Their Sentinels are hardly changing anything about the defensive setup. A little bit more rotation possibility for John Cutie as he can lean from site to site here, as it's still Cloud9 trying to toy with mid. They didn't break the wall earlier since it's such a weird spot to get up and push with the angles that have opened, so using the clone for that.
Exactly.
They still have nowhere, though.
It's actually a good one to bring the clone out that time. Remember, we talked about how they were punished with the wall towards M3, towards the spawn. Now a double swing to try to punish the crossfire setup from Sentinels, but war attrition. A couple of utils being thrown out. And a small stalemate with 50 seconds left on the clock. So C9 could now continue to work around the map, try to force these rotates. And it starts up, but it's the spike by itself. Mitch moving forward.
Zelsa sees the shoulder. They both are able to trade that vision. And C9 still trying to hit almost on every point of the map right here. Back towards Cat. They still have Teo. They still have a bit of a crossfire towards site. Narrate's ready for the side shot. Is able to get Oxy just through the wall at the end. And now he's pinched, but he gets the paranoia help, sight help from the team, and it's absolutely huge. That call from Bang, the paranoia and the cleanup from Sentinels, the teamwork is absolutely immaculate for
That's
them.
what I was wondering here. Vic was still holding towards A main at this point. Still had a paranoia. I don't think the knife was ever thrown by John Cutie towards the front.
No, just on Cat area.
I'm assuming right now Cloud9 or that previous round was trying to push forward, trying to find information so that Vic could throw the paranoia to allow here Cloud9 to really move in towards the A site. But they were getting shut down, no communication where to throw the flash. And that's a small little fumble coming out for the first time in this series, I gotta say here. Because both teams have been really fighting well, toe-to-toe, reading the good macro, but right there at that spot, there should have been some good reads coming out here, at least some assists from Vic to allow those players on tree to move in.
And I think C9 call a timeout. Vans, you pose the question, is the attack side something we have to worry about for C9, starting on attack and not starting on defense? Once they get into the site, we saw the speed they were trying to use. The Deadlock can lock it down. The Vice can lock it down, but Deadlock and Vice aren't necessarily great for taking that site. So we're seeing them, C9 get stalled out so much now.
There's definitely a game plan around Cloud9 around this composition for sure with the double Sentinel, and for sure they're preparing against a KO, for example, and also a Teo. There's a lot of missiles, a lot of knives that could break out for this utility, and that's why Brent was saying Cloud9 has such a good defensive side, because not only can they pivot the util back and forth, maybe stack from here and there, but C9 are quite aggressive at the very beginning of these rounds too.
Yeah,
you can't play turtle back, because if you're going to get hit by a knife, you're going to hit by salvos. The util's already gone, so you have to fight aggressive at the very beginning.
Yeah.
That was something that worked very well against Leviathan during the regular split. They won that game 13-3. So they have, what, a 12-1 on the defensive side. So getting 3, again, as I say, it's not too bad looking at Cloud9 because they look very clean on the defense, but for sure, coming out of this timeout, that's why Imi's using both of them right now on their attack side, just to try to salvage these last few, when they once again have not too much utility to work with, or in terms of weaponry, but they have the ults, and they've been really good with the Annihilation hit the last time around.
And looking at Sentinel side, you always have to look at Zekin right now. The operator out now from B main, pushing mid and takes down net. So even if we do see C9 getting a site, that hold becomes that much weaker. Zekin has been so pivotal this game so far. I think that's 18 kills for him as well. And the op hasn't slowed him down and even retaking sites alone.
That's Cloud9 that was trusting that smoke too much. Being pulled up on M2 right by Pizza. Zekin just walks through that, gets an easy kill and dashes away, while everybody's so hyper-focused on trying to take up Catwalk. A little bit of a fumble once again for Cloud9 out of a timeout. Micro mistakes, but it renders costly because Sentinels are closing and taking a huge lead on this first half.
Oh! John Cutie playing that angle perfect. Narrate takes another one down, and even the Eco Rush, that little death ball through Market, could not make it alive. Sentinel starts to pinch in from every which way. They're varying up things that C9 has looks at, right where John Cutie is getting those kills. Zelsa's played a few rounds ago, so who's playing it and how they're playing it is changing. C9 may be expecting a bit of the same, but they're always seeing a lot of different things here.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, they decided to use the Steel Guardian for Zeppa for that split. Don't do that, John Cutie. What happened last time when you did that little one? But trying to get that split towards that B site was fully denied, but at least they have weapons to work with this time around, and also still some more ults. So leveraging Oxy this time around, who's been relatively quiet so far in his head-to-head matchup between him and Zekin, could get a lot of information here for maybe doing some sort of combination with the Dimensional Drift and also the Annihilation from net, so that they could open up a site. But they have to figure out what Sentinels are currently positioned, and I love that to start. A great first blood from Zekin, but at least it gets immediately traded out, and that's finally C9 working on those fundamentals that were kind of needed in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, they're trying to put their cat hold back together here. You see quickly John Cutie coming around if there needs to be a flash. They get the drone, they'll have the knife. And it looks like they are going to try to Dimensional Drift over here towards A. The step up, though, from Bang just to get a little further and take him off guard. Warfield. Narrate coming in, closing down the site, playing previously where John Cutie was, so they're rotating each other around here, as I said before, but still the hold is just the same. And there it is. Zeppa goes down 9-3 here for Sentinels on the first half, after quickly pulling away early.
It was going back and forth until finally you're starting to get the ult and also Zekin on an operator. That's been something that's been a pain point for Cloud9 so far, but I love this position from Bang, getting in front of the Dimensional Drift. Creating ruckus, not giving a chance for C9 to activate here on the attack, but hopefully they can here on the defensive side.
Sen City looks to keep the momentum going when we come back from the break.
It's for you. Do you like it? Come on, Charlie, use your new door. Come on, let's go. I said go. Let's Go! Silly dog. I'm gonna trade you for a cat. Red Bull gives you wings.
The new Red Bull Zero is here. 100% wings with monk fruit extract.
Sentinels with a 6-round lead on Ascent. The pick of Cloud9 as we start second half, 9-3 here. And C9 is known to be pretty good on defense, but can they find that play style now after Sentinels came out this strong?
You got to find ways to shut down Zekin so far.
Yeah.
If not, it's going to be a pretty easy first map for Sentinels to start this series.
Like the team deathmatch score for him out there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You see the position from C9 at the, from Sentinels at the very beginning here. It's just going to be to scale up to try to find some information. Bang is all the way back at the top middle, so he's trying to listen for some information.
A lot of damage onto Mitch, and that's not going to refresh.
This is tough though. Nary cannot overextend so far because he has his spike, but thankfully a defensive smoke will allow here his teammates to meet up with him.
Just buying more time, making a little noise. They want C9 to dislodge themselves from those initial positions here and feel uncomfortable. Right now, the deadlock wall is going to prevent any of that, though.
Yeah, you definitely see it from Sentinels, the way that they're just pulling back and forth in the very beginning. They're expecting this type of aggression coming out from Cloud9 on the defense. And you're seeing it slowly. It's a scale. Look at the minimap. They're actually pushed out here towards the A side. But now they're read on the wall.
Protocol wall takedown. It's going to be Logs. And they do hit Narrate quick. Second and John Cutie come in fast with the kills on attack. It is a swarm from Sentinels, and now they're going to have the site. Second Sheriff is still going to be lurking around here. Looks like he will stay close to stairs. Trying to make sure he is one of the crossfires on the outside of this boathouse so they don't get utiled, and it's going to be the 2-1 split here from C9.
They need Oxy and Mitch to get value out of this recon flash. They could maybe get some wall bangs with these ghosts.
Oh, the flash into a recon so they can't dodge would be perfect here if they can just get it over the wall in time. Vic's trying to draw the attention. 1 and 2 come out from the left side. It's the util. It's the fight now, but Sentinels has their eyes on the prize, and they instantly wipe down the 3 members of C9.
Yeah, Sentinels already knew the win con coming out from Cloud9, trying to get some pings off that recon. Bang throws the smoke, hides into it, and then the rest are playing towards the back of the site. And you even see the position, I think that was Zekin, in front of the default boxes, so they can't get pinged if the recon goes towards the back of the wall. So again, I just think that they have really good understanding of how to play against Cloud9 so far. Even though Cloud9 have only played this map once this split, they've always second banded against other teams, thinking right now that the domination that they had versus Levington will be enough to play against Sentinels. As they're trying to walk out for contact, the Stinger by. As backs against the wall in the first map, they have to try to make a play.
And what else would C9 do but push on a round where they might be forced against the game point very soon? So Sentinels, knowing they buy, backing up, still lose second. That's how hungry C9 is to get these Stingers to go to work. All the deadlock utility at A means they can start to focus a little bit more of the map here.
But they did do some damage onto Oxy and Mitch. Both of them quite low, while the rest on the side of Sentinels, you still have 2 rifles in the hands of Zelsis and Narrate. That's 2 body shots and the players are down.
Delay on delay. 54 seconds left. Oh. With the spike moving, this becomes interesting. Unless they hit a little bit cat and go back to market here. I feel like they might stretch themselves a little thin, but it looks like they'll just leave that one lurk on mid.
And Zeppa just threw a flash onto B main, and it did get the contact onto Zelsis, which is why we're not fully rotating yet.
Yeah.
All the way towards the A side where they were trying to work before, but everybody's taking control of the map around Sentinels.
Easily back towards mid. That's going to be timing on the wall to drop it. Oxy's not going to think it. He's going to think it's a clone. Bang was already there. And now Mitch, like you said, already low in sight. Zeppa just behind. How much damage can they do? And is it enough to shut down the rest of the members of Sentinels? 12 seconds left. Zelsis gets a pivotal kill inside sight so they can get the spike down. And this leaves the two Stingers full HP on the half armor to come in. Bang already takes one out. And that's going to be Zelsis finding Vic. Sentinels gaining control of the situation very quick here to get another round.
Yeah, in a round where it's not Zekin that needs to pop off, and when he's already sitting in the silence, the rest of them are actually activated here for Sentinels on the attack. Very nicely done on how they controlled around the map, and yeah, another small fumble unfortunately coming out from Cloud9. The wall's been activated. There has to be a call that potentially there's going to be some sort of pressure out of Sentinels on the other side towards that spawn. Nice! And Noxie gets caught rotating across with a knife out.
Let's go.
Easy kill coming out from Bang. And
Stark.
yeah, they're getting worked.
They are getting worked. A stark difference already in our duelist that we tried to match up today in Oxy and Zekin. Oxy at the bottom of the board there for C9, so Sentinels is not letting him get online, and it has been a problem for C9 here as Zekin is just running away with this game and the team behind him.
And C9 have to be worried too. The nature of the composition around Sentinels, if they're going to try to play it very passively in the very beginning, or if you're trying to play a la G2 sometimes, when you're pulling out these salvos at the very beginning at the entrances of A main and B main, it renders it very difficult for C9 to play as aggressive as they want to. So C9 definitely has a lot to think about here to try to come back in his first map on their map pick. Double swing denied at the very beginning, and C9 are in a position where they're pretty much going to force every single round.
It's from a 1-3-1 hold. Usually that's just for info, but to get a collat, like, Sentinels is in the position, everything going their way right now, and they can do no wrong, rather. That's going to be the hit back. Flawless round coming in as they get it to game point here. 12-3 on Cloud9's map of Ascent.
And the game plan's simple here for Sentinels. Just stay back towards the spawn, let them walk towards you. Zelsis gets a beautiful double kill in the very beginning right here.
Yeah.
But that's what you kind of have to, as I mentioned before, C9 has to do this type of play where they have to try to find information. They have to try to go for a buddy system and maybe punish the extremities. Because if not, if they're staying turtled within the site, you might get hit by a KO knife. All that util from the Sentinels are gone. The Sentinel player is not, of course, the Sentinels team. That could be rather confusing.
Okay.
Finally, some sort of hope here. First blood coming out in even a second.
Wait a minute. And this is why C9 is C9, because they can do this, and you just don't understand where they pulled it from. Wasn't a timeout, wasn't anything. They just activate on mid. No other kills are on the map. Mid. Everyone mid. Maybe some rotations from the side, but it was in mid. And I think that was a little bit of that C9 taking control of the game from the beginning, right? It seemed like Sentinels had the rounds every time they started, but C9 finally can inject themselves a little bit there and show that they are worthy of taking the aggression.
Took better rounds, but maybe C9 were finally figuring out here that there wasn't enough pressure from smokes on middle, so let's just all buy Guardians and move down and get these picks. So
Just go mid.
Became kind of easy.
We still have a long way to go here. Another 8 rounds. And it's kind of squashed the question of, will Sentinel's map pool be exploited a bit here? I think they've really just had this hidden in their back pocket.
What a nice flash by Oxy.
Good push out. C9 getting a little angry here. Gotta see it. We gotta see a change in something, even if it's pushing more, being aggressive more. Sometimes you gotta go outside the box. Push around as well. This could be huge at top mid. They're getting timing on the map, and they may lose it over to the side of Bang, but that's not going to give the rest of Sentinels a free path to Bang.
And he's walking through. Right now, if Sentinels could continue to delay towards B main, they need to find it to allow this so that Bang can find the perfect timing in the back of the site.
No more.
Fortunately, though, Nara gets spammed through the smoke, and that's already a player down.
He's just trying to live for one more kill. Bang finds one, and now John Cutie knows. Gets the flash out, can't get it. Yes, he does. Double tap to the head of net. And now he says, quick, come over.
Yeah, exactly. Drop the spike so you can TP and grab it, and you stay as a team with 30 seconds left. The thing is that he canceled the... He went back towards the A side to plant while John Cutie was going B.
Yeah, he was going B. Oh, bit of a misdirect there, I think.
Stealing sight.
He's delayed enough time.
Yeah,
the paranoia is being thrown. He gets out of position with the TP, and now John Cutie meets up with him.
Oxy first. Oxy goes down first. Mitch makes a distraction. Oh, Mitch actually able to get the first kill here. John Cutie coming up big. It's not going to be him. It's going to be Noxy and Mitch to take this round and bring it to 5. Inching their way back in, but SEN could explode at any time. They have the economy, and they have the way to do it.
Yeah. I really thought that John Cutie was going to try to drop the spike a little bit earlier so that Bang could actually have a safer TP to pick up the spike. I mean, he had to pick it up out in the open, which is probably the reason why he had to cancel, just in case somebody was waiting on a rotate towards the market. So as he canceled it, he's still towards the garden. They split up for the plant. And thankfully, Oxy was still in dimensional drift. If not, that was already GG. Gave a fighting chance there for John Cutie, who unfortunately couldn't clutch the 1 versus 2.
Okay. Oxy's digging into the pockets here. Trying to push himself up the list. Goes for the operator now from the defensive side, and we saw what it did for Zekin. Can it have the same results?
It's posted up on middle. He does have full reign. I mean, the TP's still up. They're trying to find an angle here towards tiles, which may work.
They expect it. They expect everything right now from C9. And they actually give Zekin that space immediately. He takes it so fast. Oh, the shot just over Zekin's shoulder. Both actually make it out pretty healthy on that one as Oxy will regen just a little bit, and Zekin takes this fight for himself.
I think Mitch actually spotted the players up on Cat 1 when he droned out from the garden. So C9 has a pretty good read here that they're still very slow on the hit.
Yeah.
But this time with the null command, a split towards the A site. You're playing a cross map though, so the barrier survivors are still really good.
Beautiful, nice. Right on the Razor Vines as you see Zeppa over at the B site. The utility can be used off of that ultimate since he's not getting hit. And now Sentinels is left wondering, where do they go from here? Who's actually at the site? And they're not going to have enough players to get through here. So C9 are able to capitalize on one more round for themselves and slowly finding a way in. But is it too little, too late? We almost have to ask that on every round as they've allowed SEN to get to 12. The pressure rounds must make it so much more difficult.
Yeah, and they don't really want to go to try to make it expensive for Cloud9,
No.
even though a couple of them could still buy within the next
10
round.
seconds
But
left.
Zekins seems like he's one away here from the Blade Storm. But for the last 2 players, John Cutie and Nary just want to save these 2 Phantoms.
Oh.
So far, so good.
Zeppa.
Not a good story finish, unfortunately, there for John. For John Cutie. But C9 did a really good job here to shut that down. Again, doing a little bit of a classic in terms of playing on extremities to avoid the utility or avoid the KO ult. So they had a perfect delay going out towards the Razor Vines or the traps to be placed. And you see the combination. A nice little one from Mitch, taking down Zekin, who still is currently on fire, 20 and 10. And it forces out the first timeout from Sentinels.
I think C9 finally getting the op, and even the shot missed on Zekin slows down a bit of what Sentinels has to do, or activates them to push towards the site. They activate into the Razor Vines. They were kind of not on their own time is the whole point, and I think C9 likes that. So at 12, game point, and losing 3 in a row, a timeout coming in from Kaplan.
Yeah. Thankfully, on that previous round, they already found out that Oxy is wielding an operator.
Exactly.
So now the timeouts is, can we try to push him away? Are we going to try to get the Blade Storm out from Zekin so we can have a healthy buy overall across the board for Sentinels? Leverage Zelsis' ult and just overpower Cloud9. And it may be that start because all of Sentinels are leaning towards this A site. Away from Oxy's position currently. He's just waiting for the right time to get the TP out. You can see him, he'll place it across here on the top of Heaven.
Yeah.
And then try to get a pick towards the B main. So all of this is being avoided by Sentinels in the very beginning. The pop flash potentially is going to come out to swing out towards main.
Second orb into knives. He's going to get that right away. Only a shorty buy so they can get the money spent around.
Oh, and they're going to go hard.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's going to get caught by this. That alert on the way in. Steel Garden goes down. And look at that. Zekin just shooting ducks at the back of sight. Nobody even knows he's there. A shorty from Zeppa here wondering if he can get out of the smoke without being seen first. As the Phantom comes out next, and it is going to be enough to get one, but Zeppa cannot get out alive as they start trading shots towards Hell, and that's what it feels like right now for Sentinels inside A. Mitch again on the clutch versus Celsius. Spike is planted. Plenty of time to play with a few fake defuses and push into the site. Celsius with no utility here, not even the Rose.
Back up. He knows he's towards the left now.
Half is there. Goes for the shot. Mitch gets another one. Mitch keeps Cloud9 alive. Another clutch for the veteran player.
Just unfortunate. Some pure luck that came through that a recon dart went towards a way where you can't get Celsius to break the dart right away. So with the ping coming through, you're able to get it halfway. You could now play the time onto Mitch. He dodges the flash and turns back to get the instant headshot onto Celsius. Again, because Celsius shot. He knew he was on the left side of line. He could just turn, go back, look to the front. Potentially could be a Pulsar flick of the day.
Honestly, since Mitch back in the inauguration of Valorant in 2020 to when he's brought on the team now has been one of the most flexible agent/players with gun use too. Operator, Vandal, Phantom. You can look for it all from Mitch, and he's really making a resurgence here. Brought back onto the Cloud9 squad, bringing back a 7th round here for him on this first map. And now they have to clear just 5 more rounds to bring it to OT. Actually, a tough task to ask with how the game has been going as Annihilation starts off and will grab. Narrate first, but he's saved.
Now they place the wall on the attack side, too, to prevent any type of Cloud9 B-side crunch. So knowing that there's not going to be anybody close. Beautiful ult coming through from the Armageddon. Here comes the hit from Sentinels.
Nice spam through. They're trying to get these shots before they even happen. The Phantoms are helping them do it through the smoke. Still clearing sight, but Zekin goes down for one of the first times as he makes it in. Or no, Zekin gets a kill, I should say. As
So
Oxy
2v2.
answers back, the duelists are firing hot right now, and who's going to overheat on this one, and who's going to keep their cool? Dimensional Drift goes through, so Oxy knows exactly what's going on in the back of the site, and now Mitch starts to creep into position so they can activate the protocol. Just to the left, spam through the box. It's a tough spot for Zekin as he can't get help from John Cutie on the same angle. A stiff wind will blow Oxy down, and a quick transfer could take Mitch as well. Almost there, but it starts up top. Mitch finds the frag, and C9 find 8.
The HP remaining on Mitch and Oxy combined at 8. 6 on Mitch, 2 on Oxy, and they're still able to convert a 2v2. So far in the Chaos, those Sentinels have been doing an excellent job on these hits. But C9, when they come back to try to fight, not giving a chance here for Sentinels to really set up to a plant or to a post plant. It's been very close towards the end. And thankfully, again...
Let's go, Francis! Let's go, baby! That's all you! That's all you! Let's go! Come on!
Boom! All right, Nat. Don't usually hear too much from him. Not getting hype right now.
He's been loud this split for sure. Ever since he
Dang.
came back now into the VCT stage, dropped by G2 last year. Coming back this time around, I mean, he mentioned it in an interview. I think that was with Sage Tween that mentioned that he was basically fighting his own demons, playing against himself in terms of not being able to get the confidence to compete here at the top level. But he's been doing pretty decent, not necessarily only in the kill department, but also in ways that he's using his utility as mainly the Deadlock or even a Cypher.
The last few games look great for him.
Yeah, he's an integral part to C9 in terms of how they're working around the site. He's just trying to stay alive, trying to find information into the mid-rounds, and has these moments where he gets good assists around his util.
Fans, both timeouts for Sentinels has been called on their game point.
Nothing left now with
And
4
in the
rounds
past
left.
5 rounds, they have been called. Yeah. Sen City wants the lock-in here. Can Sentinels deliver? As Cloud9 is riding high, finding the silver lining here on the comeback from the defensive side. You called it. We wondered about their attack side. It was a little iffy. The C9 continues to lock down their defensive side. A low buy here for Sentinels to try and push through on this round.
Hawk Flash maybe trying to get Zekin to hit the switch. Yeah, it's a full exit in.
Okay. Goes fast. Net's still able to find him in the smoke and the chaos. Zeppa's HP and ammo is just about the same, down at single digits right now. They're all still stuck for the side of Sentinels here in the Archway B. Great use of Razor Vines and a bit of util is going to throw him back. And no upgraded weapon will come of this just yet.
They definitely got snuffed out of that one. That's exactly what we're just talking about. Net throwing a beautiful wall right into the main side. So, yeah, Zekin's able to dash through, but the rest of the team can't follow up. And even if they made it through, you still had 2 sonic sensors towards this B site where nobody could jump down towards that lane. But a good read, a good pivot for Sentinels in the mid-round. Still 2 stingers available. John Cutie calls for them to move towards this A site where there's only Mitch playing, and he plays the perfect spot.
Exactly, moving back to be more of an anchor, but not in the site, just outside the site, causing Sen to now have to re-clear main, have a few more things on their plate.
What you're trying to do with this position here is just to maintain the A site. When this plant comes down, when the door closes, especially that, you now know that the players have to play inside the site for Sentinels. So it will allow for the rotate coming back from Vic, from Zeppa, from Net, to fight within the site. But look at the post-plant positioning so far from Sentinels. That flash currently set up from Zelsis could really help delay and fight back here against Cloud9's Flood.
Oh, he gets one solo, and now he can draw the attention. This is perfect for Heaven to start coming out. You can see Nat start to sidestep. They're looking for the swings. Another one for Mitch. Does he even need him? No, he doesn't. Another 3K for Mitch.
Mitch has the IGL starting to activate as well on the second half. I was just talking about the whole round. He's just got to stay alive, and he's probably going to be the last person moving through.
Yeah,
when they create the ruckus towards the top of him. And then he's just going to walk in.
He's going to be the first.
Casually stroll, get a 3K into that one while everybady's focused towards the back of the site. And remember, no more timeouts left for Sentinels here on this second half. So yeah, it has to fall down onto John Cutie. A timeout that probably was going to be translated within this round right here because Sentinels has money to work with, although not the best. Half buy small shields, trying to keep the economy up for continuous buys for the rest of the half. But C9 are finally finding some ways to fight back right here.
Wait a minute. Oh, they're not coming from mid. They just go for a bit of a push towards the left side. I was wondering if that was going to be a huge attack on tiles, too. And now we see no operator in the mix. There was more than enough money for C9, but they realize the speed of the game is going to be changing. There may not be time for an op. Everything is moving pretty damn fast right now, and you have to be able to move at that pace with your team. Bit of a 3-2 split here for Sen. C9 is very active on the defensive side trying to figure this out.
Look at this. Brendan was just talking about now you change things around the walls towards B main. Everybody's pushed up towards middle because all of the Sentinels utils on both sides.
This could be a meat grinder. Hunter's Fury up the middle. It's not going to give anybody really room to shoot on this one, so they're just figuring out what's happening on the map. B is open. Sen are not aware of it, though. They could be taken out from the right side, but they'll. C9 back in position. They enter the site right as Sentinels try to. This movement is incredible.
Trap play didn't really work at the very beginning to find the info, but at least to get the first blood by punishing the push into B main. Now with 30 seconds left, it's up to Zekin that has to try to create an opening.
That timing. Zekin on top of it here. Can he hold for long enough, though? What a push, and Mitch realizes it's a ruse, gets the quick shot there, and now it's still going to be the rotation over. They realize what B was.
That could have been a huge kill. That would have been Spike.
One more, though. Feels it. Doesn't look. Oh, second guessing himself. Gets the wall, and he's actually going to get shot in the back for this one. Didn't get a shot. Another 3K for Mitch. Count him up. Rack him up.
And pistols left now for C9 as the Steel Garden comes out.
You get locked in.
Revealing area.
One dart. Gives them a bit of a chance to clear themselves into sight. Net takes down one. Can it be another big clutch for C9? This is going to be game, or it's going to be a round continuation here. Net very low. It's going to be the jump from Zelsis and the right-click classic. Everybody's on their feet from Sentinels in the crowd and on stage as they take map number 1 away from Cloud9.
What a nice finish by Zelsis towards the end, but yeah, I felt it. Potentially another clutch, a 1v1. This time, the one by Sentinels that could finally stop this comeback that was coming here from Cloud9. And unfortunately there, if you're a C9 fan, you kind of wish that they had a couple more rounds on the attack side because they were starting to pick things up here on the defensive side. Yeah, and losing the pistol, losing the bonus, that's gotta hurt on the side of Cloud9. Something that they have to pick up here and clean up for the second map. But so far, we were in for a treat at the very beginning. Sentinels were running away with this one, but C9, they show that they still have some fight.
They do still have some fight. I think slow starts might be a little bit of a plague to them. Oxy not starting off as fast as he wanted to, and the rest of the team slowly taking time to pick up, but that's where we look at Sentinels. Sentinels was making sure their start was slow, bringing in the attack, and making sure they could take Ascent, something we have not seen from them yet this stage, and they show it first in playoffs. We got more in this series between SEN and C9. Don't go anywhere.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
Stealing C9's map pick of Ascent. There have been a lot of questions about Sentinel's map pool, what you guys are willing to float, what you guys can play. When C9 picked Ascent, what was the plan?
We definitely thought they would pick it. The comp they play is pretty much Gunter's creation. He really nailed it last year with that, so he was really specialized in having a lot of solutions for us that we talked about throughout the week. Got a little bumpy there as I think we were a little too eager to close it out. That happens when you're up 12, but yeah, we had a really good plan to just kind of punish them, and it worked out.
Well, best luck on map 2.
Thank you.
And there you have it. You heard from Coach Kaplan there. The confidence for Sentinels came from the fact that they had the plan. They knew what they wanted to do. And most importantly, they had Zelsis with that SEN Classic closing it out. Now, of course, folks, that takes us to a very hectic situation here for C9. And team, I mean, honestly, at this point, I really felt, Emily, so confident about C9 coming into this. I'm sure they did too, because there were moments there where it looked like it was going to happen. They were going to make that comeback happen.
Yeah, no, it sounds like Sentinels did have the read, but I want to, like, oh my gosh. If Cloud9 started on defense, I feel like it would have been a different story. Like, they had a really hard time closing that out there.
Yeah, and of course, they had a big problem to deal with in the form of Zekin. Because this kid just popped off.
Yeah, Zekin went nuts, and I think a lot of it was him getting going on the first half. He was Kaplan was talking in the interview about the value that Gunter was able to provide on countering this comp.
Yeah,
and
fascinating.
I think it showed in a massive way. I know Kaplan has worked with Gunter in the past and previous iterations, and I know he was very adamant about getting him on the roster. So you can tell a lot of the prep came into this. They knew what the strength points were for Cloud9.
This was crazy.
This play was
crazy.
just
this was offensive. That was offensive. I was offended.
You can like nerd out and draw defaults and all this stuff, but then Zekin can just happen, right? And it's just insane. So I think there's a lot to be said about Sentinels, even in the second half when Cloud9 was starting to come back into it. You could tell they were ready for what Cloud9 were going to throw their way. They knew what was coming, and they were able to dance around it. And yeah, it got a little hairy, but I think they were in the driver's seat for most of it.
Emily, where do you think things kind of went south on that attack for C9, and really how they were only really able to get 3 rounds out of that? And we talked about what we wanted to see from this composition on the attack. It wasn't all that much.
No, it really wasn't. Honestly, I think it started with them losing that pistol. You know, you're down 9-3, you lose the pistol, you're bound to lose the anti-eco.
Yeah.
And it was just a rough start. It was a really hard thing to come back to. I don't even think it was the console, but as a team, like that, you have to get so much momentum going, and they just, well, couldn't really.
Yeah, and they tried. I mean, you heard Net, like, he was trying to pop off, right? Get the team back into it. There were moments there, for sure. And Doug, I think it's safe to say, though, that, you know, Cloud9 not out of it, not by a long shot, but this is going to be an uphill battle to climb here because they're going right into Pearl.
Pearl map that both teams are strong on. You know, you were mentioning Cloud9 run that double duelist comp, and I do think, you know, Emily, you mentioned something in between while we were watching the game about how aggressive Sentinels like to fight, right?
Oh.
They never gave them any comfort. Are you expecting the same on Pearl?
Oh, for sure, especially on Pearl. Like, they're so proactive, too. Like I said, I think I said last weekend, Sentinels, they're a team of all aimers. Like, I would be scared swinging into every single one of those players.
Yeah.
And the way that they go about playing is, like, they fight for their space. They fight for any space that Cloud9 wants to take, and I'll see that going into Pearl. And when they don't, or when Cloud9 does have success, they push something else. They take those 1v1s, they take those 1v2s, and it's scary.
Yeah, very impressive stuff there. Hey, and kudos to C9 for trying to climb their way back into that game. Didn't quite work out, but let's actually hear what's going on over in the C9 camp as we get ready for map 2.
Here with the head coach of Cloud9, Emmy, who is here despite getting a tooth extraction today, so feel better. I'm going to ask you, what happened that map? Was it a failure of the comp? Was Oxy not online?
No, I just think, again, probably nerves, same as the G2 game, but a little bit different. We're usually really good on attack. That's why we saved it this whole time. And we lost some scrappy rounds. We did some misplays. We took a lot of solo fights. And then on the defense, we brought it back. We probably shouldn't have forced bought, but we forced bought and we brought it back in the end anyway. And it's just a shame we lost.
Let's look them up too.
All right, folks. Well, you know what's coming up. It's Pearl. That's map 2. We'll see how this all breaks down and whether or not Sentinels can pull off the 2-0 or if C9 can force us to map 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you on the other side.
We are back for Sentinels versus Cloud9 as SEN take Cloud9's pick of Ascent 13-9. And now we head to Sentinels Pearl. C9 also has a good Pearl, but they also need to have a very good game to stay in the upper bracket here and bring us to a game 3.
Exactly. If you're looking at the map here of Pearl, at least so far we see the composition from C9. Nothing changes, but they've been 3-1 in this split, making it very close against a top dominant team such as G2, losing 11-13, dominating Furia with almost a flawless round, but finishing 13-1 on that one. But Sentinels on the other end, with this composition as well, is currently 3-0 on this map. This is Sentinel's map pick. They're very comfortable on this before. This is something that Zekin mentioned, probably one of our best and strongest maps outside of potentially even Haven going into this one. But now it's the head-to-head battle. You see maybe in terms of the Sentinels, it kind of changes, right? You have the Cypher that stays around net. You have the Vice here for Zelsis. Both of them really prominent and good on their respective agent for this map. Although I like to say that for C9, you have that extra trip, and they're also using it for very good information when they're playing the defensive side, where C9 is starting first. And what I'm talking about is that Vice wall that G2 likes to place towards the arc. Net does that with the trip. What it allows here for C9 to do is to work a lot of aggression on the extremities and to play on rotates on from the A side to B because they have this Euro to work with.
Yeah.
Sentinels probably has a good read going into this game because looks like they had a good read going into the Ascent game as well against Cloud9. So when I was really hyped up and trying to see that C9 probably had a chance to push us into a third map, I mean, these guys over on the Sentinels camp have been doing an excellent job adapting on the fly.
I mean, they're going to have to, right? I love what you mentioned about the Cypher because it's more information in those areas, but it also allows you to be ahead of the game more, which Imi absolutely loves. Any step he can be ahead of the other team is perfect. And yeah, the Vice Wall is going to let you know when people are coming by, but having that camera around, how are SEN going to play around that? Where are they going to find it? How fast do they destroy it and start messing with Net's utility? Is all the questions to see how they can shut down that Cypher's defensive
Happy birthday!
hold. Happy birthday. Let's go. Off to everybody having a birthday today. I'm sure there's a few. All right, we're getting on to Pearl here, our second map for our second series. They're having a birthday. They look like they're having fun.
Melissa party for sure in terms of the vibes here for Sentinels. Zelsis has all been stepping up here every single time that Sentinels are winning a round. And now Sentinels on the attack. They are able to take control here of the tempo. To kick things off here on Pearl, and it's a Teho drone to spot Vic. Vic, who's had so many good moments in this split, though, is now suppressed. Can't pull the smoke up, so he's going to be... He has to stand tall with this Ghost.
It's a very big commitment here for Vic to stay in. The shots are just missing. They capitalize on one. But wait, it's set by Mitch. They find more. The Sentinels is now out in the open trying to get themselves to safety here. Very low health on both sides. It's going to be the Ghost versus the Classic, and Net's going to be able to ring true. Zelsis, the Vibe Merchant, takes the pistol round on Pearl.
Finishing the map on a 1v1 Zelsis versus Net. Won by Zelsis. Another pistol round won by Zelsis against Net.
Picture perfect.
Continues to vibe here and help out Sentinels to build up the economy moving into the further rounds. As you've seen here on these type of buys that they had, did go for heavy investments with rifles, bulldogs.
Michael! Michael! Oh.
Not even looking. Focused on his screen. Zelsis is trying to get the attention. Always on his feet. We'll have to see if they can carry right as we get out of this. We'll get an idea of what it is for you as soon as we can. And get back into game ASAP here. But like you said, Zelsis not stopping an inch there. Gets the clutch on Ascent to win the map. Gets the clutch for the pistol round to make sure they can start off strong here.
And definitely wants to...
Just a rush attack to be.
Exactly, and just really wants to get into Net's head here after winning this 1v1. I mean, also, Zekin mentioned that, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing against a team like Cloud9 because they're good friends with Net, and they just want to topple him down. Unfortunately, you had this friendly rivalry from these players, right? And best friends between
absolutely.
Zelsis and Coach Imi.
Watching Zeppa play ranked just a few days, or like yesterday or a few days ago, him and Zelsis were going at it in MM2.
Yeah.
Just kind of chatting it up, being like, "But you lost to them like 2-3. You got burned." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll see you on the stage." They're always ribbing each other just a little bit. The crowd's ready, happy to get back in. Some Q-Berts out there supporting both levels of the Sentinels rosters.
That's right. Usually I see a red here in the arena, but you can definitely see that it's split across the board
C9
today.
Thundersticks out there today, and C9 crowd for sure.
This does mean a lot, though, for a team like Cloud9, who's been missing internationals after internationals. I mean, even if you're looking, I'm going to inject a little bit of cope here for C9, and Amy talked about this in interviews and streams, but when C9 actually had these occasions to try to play into playoffs where the storylines is, well, they're missing these opportunities to make it into Masters and Champs. But it was last year when we actually had these knockout rounds where there was no double elimination bracket. And who did C9 have to play? They had to play against a crew team that made it into Champs into that split 2 of last year. And even they had to play against a G2 that went all the way towards the grand finals in a knockout round and then qualified for Shanghai. So they had to play some tough opponents no matter what every time they made it into playoffs. Now this time they're playing against a powerhouse at Sentinels that's turned things around since they came back from Bangkok. So it's never going to be an easy run for C9. And either of these teams moving forward will have to face off against G2 as now back in the server though, 1-0 for Sentinels. Orbs being controlled by Sentinels as the push is coming through from Cloud9 towards main, and it's an easy TP away from Zekin.
Like zoo, just the zoo animals just running out A stairs. They're stomping through. You see Sentinels like, no, we don't want any of that. Low buy or not. Smart play to just redistribute and reset the round. Honestly, they spread out to what would just be a default here, 1 minute. And they're going to go ahead and play a fake onto B.
It works.
And get over to A. Yeah, that's working really well. Look at everybody leave A now.
You already forced a TP away here from the side of Zeppa, who initially was trying to keep a 4-player stack towards the A side. They gave up towards that front. Should be an easy entry here for Sentinels because there's no util to stop them as they enter towards A side. Well, Pistols will.
The double swings they have to apply that damage. Get some of these guns down. It's not retrievable just yet, but it is a little bit scary for the post plant here. Zekin spamming through, using that hero rifle on this buy. Or I should say upgrade rifle.
Shots are missing, though. There's an opening for C9. Not anymore.
Yeah, he closes it down. Oh, waiting on the right side, waiting for the crossfires to come through, and he finds the ace! Coming in for Zekin. They let him have the eye by power ace on that one. Beautifully done. Remember the PC giveaway from I by Power. The first ace of every week coming through. After that, the $100 gift card and $100 in I by Power merch. Hashtag unlock your ace, baby. I mean, Zekin continues to unlock his aces.
Yeah, make sure you follow him on socials. I by Power. And yeah, the last kill was a little labor, but I mean, he was running everywhere to try to get kills. C9 just trying to flood back towards the Flowers, trying to stay as a group.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, couldn't trade any shots at all. And are we actually calling a timeout right away going into the gun round? Oh, okay, never mind.
Indeed.
I was like, that would be very surprising if Imi was doing that, but no. I want to be a little bit more take pause gear.
So we got rock, paper, scissors between Zekin and Zelsis. Oh, Zekin just crushed him in like 2 seconds.
We'll try to find it.
Are they winning? Okay. Oh, he gave it to him. What do we got?
There it is, chat. There it is.
Ooh, got him again.
Dude, he's not missing on anything today.
Jersey's finest is crushing.
One more. On shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Again, dude. It's like Bart Simpson always going scissors or something, bro. He's just going rock and he's destroying your scissors. Come on. All right, we get this tech pause sorted out and figured out. We were talking about Cloud9 a little bit earlier, and an interesting point, just looking at the squad, is they're always a team who will begin kind of with a different roster and then switch it up. So you don't have a team that's grown really all throughout the season like Sentinels would, or a different team, and maybe this is a focus on their playoff woes. They're not fully there. They're not adjusted to 2 stages, maybe even a full season and that. But somehow, they're still always firing high in the ranks. Even with these changes, even bringing new people on the team, they still find their way to playoffs. But what is the crux here is always the question.
Yeah, at least Imi when he was mentioning at the helm of C9, you know, replacing MC and going into Coach C9.
Yeah.
With the different iterations that came through of like the Moose, the Rooney, the Vanities of the world. But this time around in 2025, he definitely feels that confidence that this is the best iteration of C9 that he's had to coach. And he fully feels confident that this will be a team that could actually defeat world star teams over in the Valorant scene, not only in the Americas, but across the world. But first, of course, you have to try to qualify
Yeah.
over the Masters. But he said it is still a work in progress. You might still need a little bit of time in order to flush that all out. But there is a chance when, there's a day where everybody's kind of feeling it. You've seen those matches. They could definitely do some crazy upsets.
Absolutely.
As this dark horse team going into the playoffs, as a dark horse team going into Split 1 in 2025 here in Americas.
And it's still incredibly young, moldable players too. I mean, you got Mitch and Zeppa who are going to bring the veteran status and the pedigree they have, but Oxy, I feel like it has gone from the 4v5. Oxy's kind of not there because it might be Oxy go die, team do the rest.
Exactly.
And more of Oxy being in the team in these situations, and he will be necessary for the round.
You could definitely see that from how they've been activating with this roster overall. Let's say Lotus, for example, or how he's trying to move in towards a map like Pearl. He maybe doesn't bring up the exact numbers coming through because he is trying to create that space. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that game plan of Oxy go kill and try to play a 4v5 anymore, because now you have to play against Zeppa, who's probably had the best career so far into VCTs on the America stage. So the 2025 year has been amazing for him so far. And they also, with the addition of Vic, we've already seen what Vic could do ever since he joined this roster.
What the heck?
A little bit of a sleeper in the first place, but he's totally killing it so far.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to step away for a moment. Let's hear from Cloud9's IGL Mitch and how he feels about the team's performance.
I guess the difference between playoffs and group stages is people are a little bit more tense. I think going into playoffs, there's going to be a lot more pressure on, even like the experienced players, I think, for stage, because they know that they're playing for Toronto. It's going to be a lot on the line, and I think whoever makes the big plays are going to qualify.
I would say multiple 3Ks qualifies as big plays. So Mitch is on that list right now for making those happen. He's been having a great game so far.
Definitely seen that, at least for sure, on that previous map. But to touch back onto Vic, he's been the one that's been doing so many multiple kills and a lot of highlight reels. Remember, on this very map, behind the A site, getting a superb ace against Furia, or how he's playing on Rubble. He's a player that's just able to find some good aggression, and it kind of fits C9 quite well. Paranoia's TPs, he's not trying to play kind of like a safe style of Omen. I love the style that he brings here over to this agent for this team.
Yeah, and talking about players on C9 that used to be, Zelsis over there too. Used to be a C9 player. Now brings that pedigree over to the side as Sentinels, helping get that roster built up. I mean, from the beginning of the games, I remember him saying kind of to narrate, hey, no more emotional stuff on stage, narrate kind of, he's very hard on himself. So seeing narrate now come into a different light and being able to play under all that stress, but still we're not seeing that emotion take him over now. Like the brains that Zelsis brings to the team there is huge in helping everybody.
It's cool because
too on screen.
As you mentioned that in terms of narrate trying to battle his own demons, that was what we were just talking about on that previous map when it was Net that kind of had highs and lows of doubting their performances. But he's been so good in the last 2 weeks here for narrate.
For sure.
He's been opening a lot of rounds here for Sentinels overall. And just when we just talked about and heard what Mitch was saying about about C9, for example, the pressure that is on their shoulders trying to qualify for Toronto, I feel that there's still some sort of small pressure coming in from the side of Sentinels because they kind of want to try to win this to play in Toronto, not only for Sen City, but I would also assume here for John Cutie, who, played in the MENA division out in Africa for the longest time, trying to qualify through the Tier 2, going into North America, playing from Montreal to play under the M80 banner, and now has an opportunity to get picked up. IGL lead this team in Sentinels and wants to play in the home crowd of Montreal with the rest of the fans flying in from different areas, different provinces to see John Cutie play.
Honestly, has to be awesome, especially to be fighting for that feeling and possibly one map away. But right now we're going to hear from Zelsis to get his thoughts on facing off against Cloud9.
Vic has been playing outstanding. Oxy has been playing well. Zeppa has always been frying. And Mitch is just consistent. Net is consistent in their roles. I think they're a well-rounded team. Sadly, playoffs is a whole different beast. It's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different feature. I just feel like they are going to be a little bit shaky in playoffs, especially coming off the choke loss that they had against MIBR. I think they'll definitely be a little bit shaken up. So I think them for us, as long as we don't go in nervous against their nerves, I think it should be like an easy match. But I think they've definitely found themselves as a team, so it could be scary.
Are they saving? They gotta go. 2G has to run, but they're going straight into Bang, and he's putting them down. Make or break on Haven, and Oxy's already found the opening kill. He's just sending it. Oxy, no one's watching him.
We are back in the VCT Americas Arena, almost ready to get into game. I promise. I am asking Vans to hit the play button, and he's hovering. He's hovering.
Broken for me. It's broken for me. I'm still trying to fix it.
Okay, that's why.
I'm still trying to fix it.
That's why. So that's where we're getting fixed up, and then we'll get right into game. All of the rock, paper, scissors has been played out. We got everything sorted on stage here, so we should be back in quite shortly. If you don't remember, right before we went to break, we had the Zekin Ace. I mean, that possibly could have broken the server. He's playing crazy, and maybe they're just giving away the PC he has right there, so they just had to hook up a new one, right? But no, really, Zekin 6-1 right now. The Dimensional Drift is up on round 3 because of what he just did, so I don't expect this to be an easy bonus round here for Cloud9.
It's crazy too, right?
Anti-bonus.
Yeah, exactly. But even for Zekin to get the Dimensional Drift already in round number 3 is just reminiscent of what happened on the set before in the first half when they were playing on defense. He's at like 3 or 4 Blade Storms going through. So that is definitely a key component into adapting for the day, that they're like, okay, well, we don't have to try to pivot towards C9's aggression or try to figure out how to play the macro.
Yeah.
If Zekin's just popping off, let's just try to get a game plan around the activation that he has around the Blade Storm, the activation now that he has around the Dimensional Drift. I'm quite surprised, though, that we are moving over to, actually, at least for Ascent, if you're looking at the first place, the map that was picked here for Cloud9. Because at the desk, they were mentioning here that C9 were testing out their map pool throughout the season, right?
Yeah.
You went into a 7-map pool.
They kind of touch on everything.
Exactly, and it's like, okay, well, it's nice we're able to play like our own game or try to have a feel about how we play against our opponents. When you're playing now against a team like Sentinels that haven't touched a set since last year, so you're trying to play your own game. You don't really know what Sentinel's going to be coming in with, and then unfortunately, yet where you maybe have some sort of read against the KO Nateo, you couldn't get stopped by how Zekin was able to activate through, and it almost looked like Sentinels were even more prepared into C9's macro. Remember those spots where Zekin's walking outside of the smoke because it was smoke towards Pizza, runs out, gets a pick. So again, there's been more on the side here of C9 that they have to try to turn it around to hopefully bring this back in. Maybe force this into a third map of Icebox. But that said, thank you so much for your patience, chat. Let's start moving back in the server.
Let's go.
Bonus round now available for Sentinels. As it's strong, a rifle for Zekin, already coming out with the Dimensional Drift, trying to find the info. And it's being pinched on left and right. They'll probably have a read. There's 3 players out there, and now it's a pinch. 4 players out towards the A site.
Cruising, about to be out of it.
And there's that trip. The one that Net likes to place kind of like a vice wall to get information where the pressure's coming from. How does C9 react around that? And you see them pulling up the camera at the same time, trying to see if there's pressure in on middle. And as he sees nothing yet, all of C9 can stay stacked up towards the A site and try to stop this push.
Zekin's going to be on the forefront of this one. The head of the spear goes towards the smokes. You can see low health just on the other side of that as they're trying to decide. Zekin gives himself an out. They make sure Bang is safe, and they know that the first layer of the site is there. But no, Cloud9 starts to come out of the woodwork with shots from left and right, and the crossfire is beautiful.
And unfortunately, the vines being thrown by Zelsis kind of stops here the opportunity from the last two players of himself and Zekin trying to swing out to go for trades. So he just has to keep players at bay. Try to keep them towards the A site where you see Zekin is moving for a
30
plant.
seconds left.
So the responsibility now for Zelsis, stay. Try to watch back and maybe go for a fight towards the back of the spawn. If not, I mean, if he's going to walk back towards the street, that camera being set up here by Net could see a lot.
Zelsis, the super quiet here. He's got 3 people to pass and then a little extra time to wait here. But not too long. You can't leave Zekin out to dry on this situation. It's going to be tough, and the pins are even harder as Zelsis has the timing. Zekin trying to stay alive, gets a spam, but it doesn't throw him off, and he gets 2. Vic's able to take 1, but he's done his job. 2 for the round, and Zekin is happy with that. He leaves Zelsis with the perfect prep. The smoke is there. It's at half. They're not even looking. He misses the first shot, but he's going to have it. Nose on the second defuse. That bike, it does go through, and he's able to get the clutch! The 2v4, and Sentinels make it look easy.
The double Z's coming out from Zekin and Zelsis, putting C9 to sleep. What a move moving out here from Zelsis. The patience that he has and the confidence that you have to leave Zekin alone inside the site. You were talking about it. It was going to be a tough position for Zekin in the site, but you know he's going to be good for at least 1.
And he got shot through the box and didn't overreact. Like, so calm.
As a unit so far, this team on the attack side of Sentinels. A big clutch coming through here from Zelsis. And now C9, well, they're going to try to gamble it up here. Try to get this orb to build up an ult for C9 within the next round.
Oh, family photo right outside the dismiss. They were not expecting that. It's been something C9 put the cam up and have had that space for free all the time. And Sentinels just pulled the rug out from under him on that. 3 dead, and the push towards 8 easily happening here. Zekin, again, 1 off of ultimate.
I mean, we're going to sound like a broken record by the end of this game. Zekin owns. Zelsis owns.
Yeah.
But there are 2 players that are pretty decent in the clutch. Unfortunately, though, for Cloud9, they don't have the best weaponry to work with.
Staying quiet. Just trying to hide around the utility right now. Got it. There's a few jumps onto Zekin, but he still gets 1. Okay, Stinger does some repeated damage, but it's not going to be enough. Narrate gets that final kill here, and Sentinels are moving through the defensive protocols of C9 like butter here. Just dismiss and gone. They were so ready for that on 3 different levels to fight that too.
And a similar story again to Ascent.
Good up.
Going into round number 5,
Zekin, but passively.
Zekin already has another dimensional drift to work with, and now Cloud9 pulls a timeout. The first one here of the second map, trying to work around what we saw before we headed into the replays. Ults available on their side of the defense, and knowing that Zekin has his dimensional drift available, I wonder if they want to try to get some sort of play to get behind and fight behind the dimensional drift that Zekin is going to try to utilize to get information. Because that was something that on that first map that Bang did very well against that push from Cloud9 when Oxy was trying to ult through. So hopefully they'll be able to bring some sort of, or cook something up here to not give too much space for Sentinels to work with on this map of Pearl, because the rotates are quite difficult to do here on the defense.
Maybe Zeppa will meet him in the dimensional drift. They'll have some coffee and then separate. They need to get some kills on those duelists, though. Oxy and Zeppa having a little tough time in the first 4 rounds. Again, getting started. Once we saw it switch on Ascent, they started to ramp up, but they will not have that time, or that amount of time here on Pearl. 5th round, guns all around as Oxy is going to bring out the operator, and I'm sure Emmy sorted out how they may be using these ultimates coming into the round to make sure they can get one for themselves.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the timer's not moving, chat.
It is not. And it looks like we do have another tech pause coming through. You are all warriors in the crowd and viewing at home. We appreciate you. as we will get through this as soon as possible and update you when we can. It looks like we're going to get Bang sorted out here on stage.
Yeah. A tough one, though. Keeping here the suspense going on the edge of our seat, because we just mentioned what would be the plan that Imi would be calling out here for Cloud9. We didn't have a chance to fully see everything yet in the server in terms of buy, so we'll just wait this for a bit, as, yep, that is not the type of drawing we want to see here.
The curse of the sign.
It's a cute drawing.
It is.
It's just a warning I don't like. I don't like tech pauses.
It's an omen. Wait a minute.
No, actually, it's two Astros playing.
That's true.
Oh, no, we can't do these type of tech pauses. Not when you got two old dads here on the dads just doing a bunch of dad jokes.
So it looks like they'll get Bang sorted out again on this. Zekin went from 6-1 to 10-3 just in that short amount of time, which is ridiculous. I do not understand it. And Zelsis as well. We saw him just on the previous round. Something about Zelsis, when Vice came out, unlocked another level in him. Even saying he loves the kit, loves the situation he can get himself in and out of with that agent. And it really has been a shiner for him whenever he can use that in an anchoring position. Very quick to come out with a few kills. And we just saw the last clutch as well between him and Zekin.
But it has been a great series so far for sure. When you're looking back at what Imi was just talking about during the interview with Liz before we got into the second map. What's going on here?
They dropped the sign.
Oh,
to
no.
the floor with you.
I dropped the sign.
Stop it. Oh,
Anyways,
they're in the stage.
Yeah. We're fixing it out. But that said,
That's where the game is played.
Just to go back to what Imi was talking about with Liz earlier on too, when he reflected on what happened on that first map of Ascent, there's been small mistakes that we just mentioned when we were casting that rendered very costly. Some small individual mistakes, but also the call to go for a force buy. I think it was like a 10-4 scoreline or something like that. So we had a couple of Stingers buys. They had to force buy for 2 or 3 rounds in a row to finally get the ball rolling. I think after this timeout, it's just to make sure that they maintain their calm as well on the side of C9 so that they could just focus on the game and not worry about the 4-0 lead that Sentinel's already built.
That's right. All right, let's see what they can do. Cap looks a little stressed here before they get in the game, but Kaplan delivers the strats for Sentinels, and we ask him to help strategize your evening with some recommendations on what to watch. It's time for Show and Tell.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kaplan here. So today we're going to do a little show and tell. I'm a really big movie guy, one of my favorite hobbies outside of Valorant and esports. So I brought some stuff in that I'm going to be showing you guys to kind of tell you about what movies I love and what movies I think you should check out. First thing I've got here is a book about my favorite director, Satoshi Kon. This book's called Satoshi Kon, The Illusionist. Satoshi Kon's awesome. He's an anime movie director. He was an anime movie director. This guy and his movies are always sitting there at the top. They're always the movies I come back to. A lot of the movies that people know and love, like Inception, are actually totally inspired. Even shots are just exactly copied from this guy's movies. So some favorites that I recommend people check out would be Paprika or Perfect Blue. So this book, Stories of Your Life by Ted Chiang, it's a short story book. This guy wrote a story called Stories of Your Life, which is the short story that inspired the movie Arrival. It's really cool to not only enjoy a movie, but to check out what inspired it. It really makes it a lot more fun to watch a movie over a second time. One of my favorite shows of all time is Cowboy Bebop. And right here, I bought this for myself. It's just a cool little watch. It's a little Cowboy Bebop watch. The interior is kind of inspired by the dashboard of the Swordfish, which is the ship that the main character Spike flies in Cowboy Bebop. And it's just kind of fun to have a little item that represents my love for my favorite show. So yeah, my top movies of all time, it's a really hard question. I would put at number 1, Place Beyond the Pines by Derek Cianfrance. It's just an incredible movie. It captures kind of that New England atmosphere, which is where I grew up. At number 2, Paprika, which is by Satoshi Kon. It's all about mixing kind of dream and reality and your memories. For 3, I would say would be Arrival, which is by Denis Villeneuve. The character can actually see into the future and how it would affect how you live the past out, or maybe how you wouldn't change anything even though you know the outcome of something. That's my top 3, all very related to kind of like time and memory, and I encourage people to kind of watch them all, and it'll make you really think about those themes. Thank you very much for tuning into my show and tell. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it inspires you to check out some of the movies I recommended, or just kind of learn and read more about movies in general.
Well, folks, I managed to steal someone from the crowd. It is Net's mother, Angeli. Give it up for the C9 mom here. Now, we were talking a bit earlier. You live in Las Vegas, and you're visiting here. This is your second time visiting here. What is it like coming out here for your son's matches?
Oh my gosh, it is so different from when we watch at home. We always have like watch parties with our family. Right now I'm sitting here, I am so nervous. I just want to scream and cry. But yeah, these guys, I am so proud of them just for even making it to playoffs. And I'm just so grateful to C9 for giving Net a chance. So this is wonderful.
Well, now we see Net kind of popping off, like shouting, saying like, "This is us," etc. Is that always been him? Has he always been kind of just like this, like kind of loud, boisterous, kind of like hype man?
Oh yes. He played like lacrosse and football in college, so he's a big sports guy. So he was always like their like team guy, and he's doing that here. So
he is asleep? Question mark. I don't think he knows this is happening. What do you think he's doing right now?
I know. Net, your mom's here. Wake up. Yeah.
What you were talking earlier? You think he's like maybe thinking or like meditating?
I think he's praying. Yeah, his grandma's up in heaven watching him and so proud of him, and he's praying to her right now and saying, "Grandma, just bring us over that finish line." Yeah.
What is? Oh, it's very sweet. But when we have, oh, sorry, I heard someone clapping. When we have, an arena with all of these Cloud9 fans. You said you watch at home with your family members, but what is it like being with the fans who come here for your son?
Oh my God, I love you guys so much. Thank you. Although there's a lot of Sentinels fans out here, but we're big fans of Zekin too. So let's go.
Now, one last question, or I have another question for you about, Net becoming a pro esports player. What was that conversation like? Did he come home one day and was like, "Mom, I have a job"? How did that go?
Oh my God. This kid could have done anything. He could have been in like the orchestra. He could have played lacrosse in college, and he chose Valorant. So it's like, I was like, whatever makes you happy, kid, but let's go. Yeah.
Now, one last question. When he sees this and he realizes he has missed everything, and he's like gotten lower, guys, by the way, what would you like to leave a message for him? What would you like to say?
Kid, I am so proud of you, and just keep doing you, and I love you so much, and you got all of us behind you, your whole family. So let's get this. Let's close this out, C9.
Let's close this out, C9.
Thank you so much.
At least we know that the noise-canceling headphones work pretty well, as we do have Net's mom that was trying to wake him up, but unfortunately he still has to sit back and relax and wait until we can continue on in this match. Unfortunately, we're trying to get the fix going through, but it might take a little bit more. But I do love, at least for the fact that you do have somebody that has been played a lot of college sports, going into some very competitive games. We mentioned basketball and lacrosse, but now going and choose Valorant, for me, as a dad, kind of like it. Supporting my kid to try to see what he wants to do in the future. I mean, if he wants to do esports, that's good competition, right? There's teamwork, communication, strats. You got to be disciplined to play your games. But so far, it's been a very good match. Sentinels currently in the lead 4-0 versus Cloud9 in this second map. A lot of stuff to be done here for C9 to try to rally back and to push us into a third map. That said, for those just joining us right now, the state of the game is still Sentinels with Zekin at the top. And with that said, though, looks like we still have to wait a bit before we could fix things forward. So let's check out Cloud9's Mitch and Oxy and how they could read the competition. But can they read each other? We put the duo to the test.
Hey guys, it's Mitch from Cloud9 here with Oxy, and today we're going to be playing Where's the Lie?
First one, my favorite animal is a lion.
Keep going.
My hidden talent is pogo sticking.
Pogo sticking.
Third one, I've owned koi fish.
Alright, so how long have you been pogo sticking for?
Not very long.
Yeah.
I've only done it for a couple of years. But...
How much was it? Like, what if I want to get into it? Like,
it's very niche, very niche thing. So honestly,
Yeah.
you'd have to buy a pogo stick first.
Yeah. No, how much is a pogo
How much is
stick?
it? Honestly, I have no clue. One of my family members got it for me.
Yeah. Why do you like lions so much? What's your favorite lion? You don't know?
I have no clue. I won't lie. My favorite animal is a lion.
Okay. And koi fish. How old were you when you had koi fish?
I'd maybe like 11, 10.
Okay. All right. No, I like that. That was truthful. That was good. The lion and the pogo stick is where the lie is, honestly. I'm gonna say the pogo sticking is the lie.
Yeah, that. Pogo sticking.
That's crazy.
That's such a like.
Pogo sticking.
That's such a random.
I used to play competitive frisbee golf.
Frisbee golf.
Frisbee golf. You know, with the buckets and the chains.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I have a cat named after a Harry Potter character, and I have a degree in cybersecurity.
So tell me more about this disco whatever golf thing. Huh?
Frisbee golf.
Frisbee golf.
Yeah, disc golf.
Disc golf.
Yeah. So I got into it in high school, and I played like a lot with my friends, and you know, like 10th grade, 11th grade.
Where at? Where would you play?
In Florida.
In Florida.
Yeah. Tampa.
Where did they have a course at? Inside? Is it like?
No, it's an outside.
Outside?
Yeah, it's like yards. It's like a an actual like golf, like, you know.
Okay. So tell me what your cat's name is.
Haggard.
Haggard.
Yep.
Haggard.
Yep.
Haggard, huh?
Yeah, Haggard.
Wow, why did you name it that?
He's a big like black long-haired cat.
Okay. It's cybersecurity, huh?
Yeah, cybersecurity.
I think I already know what it is.
All right.
The lion's is Haggard.
Nope.
Is it Haggard?
No. I never played frisbee golf.
Oh, this liar. Are we serious?
Yeah, I actually do have a cat named Haggard.
Oh my
Bro,
God.
I thought I told you.
No, I know you had a cat.
Yeah.
And then I was like, cybersecurity, I didn't know you had that.
Yeah.
But I was like, the first one, that's why I was asking so many questions.
Yeah. That's it for us. We're able to spot the lie. Thanks for watching.
Are they saving? They gotta go. 2GS are one, but they're going straight into Bang. And he's putting them down. Make or break on Haven, and Oxy's already found the opening kill. He's just sending it. Oxy, no one's watching him.
Hey, this is Net from C9, and this is my show and tell. The double bass is essentially a string instrument. It's the biggest one possible in an orchestra, and there's a very few amount of them, and their whole job is to just keep the pace and stay nice and steady so the whole orchestra can play together. And I would say it's, funnily enough, my job is similar to that on this team, that I just make sure that everyone's feeling good and we're always playing together. I got into double bass originally because my mom wanted me to play an instrument in middle school, and I was like very opposed to it first, but eventually I was like, I want to try the coolest one, and then I ended up just liking it, and honestly it wasn't too great, but I got to perform at Disneyland and we got to play all the songs, and I also got to play at various concerts around the country, so it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun learning about me and the double bass, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you.
There's a time limit on how long we can
Yeah, everything is out the window.
Sean, your dad has had enough. You see him?
Where is he? Is he getting?
He's out of here.
He's about to come on stage.
Bro, he's out of here, bro.
Dad, I need some help. Fix this for me.
Carlos.
Hey.
We just got baited so hard.
Now that's good news.
That is good news. But
That's
dang.
good news. That's fine. That's fine. It's better to have the game ready than us
It
filling.
all worked out. We'll just stay here for a sec. We'll wait.
I think that'll work. All right. What do they have now? Saw Emmy using all the strategies. I'm sure Kaplan is probably squeezing Hubert right now, the ever-living life out of it. And I think we're about to go in, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to have the play button pressed. And we are now back on to Pearl. Sentinels still 4-0. I'm sure C9 wishes that had changed, but it is not going to. That is a heck of a lead so far. Remember, those ultimates are ready. We're just coming out of a C9 timeout.
Who's next? So the game plan has to be there. Immediate dimensional drift coming out from Zekin. We're not playing forward as we're trying to see if C9 was going to use that strategy, but it's Oxy trying to dodge. He's going to get spotted though, but dimensional drift.
And
short battle, and Oxy wins.
No way. Oxy's so ready for it. He says, yeah, I've done that a bunch of times myself. Zep is able to trade one back, and now Sentinels falling left and right. Oxy's not stopped by the vines, but the Steel Garden is going to take away the Arsenal. It's left up to the Classics. Celsius is going to come firing through. They know they need to reposition and get themselves to safety, and it looks like he's turning tail to head to the other site and calls for John Cutie to follow.
That was so good by Oxy to kick things off. Staying alive towards that back and dropping Zekin was everything to allow C9 to come back within this game. Look at him avoid all of that utility that was thrown towards that back of the site and still runs through Zelsis' Razor Vines to get a pick. But now we go into the mid-round. John Cutie's still alive. He's calling for the pivot. The silent stop and go back into this B site. And C9 gave that up. There's an opportunity now, especially John Cutie and he salvos up, to maybe turn it back in the heads, back in the lead for Sentinel.
And the way this played out, C9 could string a few rounds together if this goes clean. Ultimates for Vic coming up. Oxy coming up in one pip. You see Mitch already has his, so much to be used here. And now they'll close in his 3. Dimensional Drift actually comes out right away for Zeppa.
They're avoiding all of it. Right now, letting himself getting spotted on the top is huge here for Zelsis. But they rate the push towards the street.
Quick flick on the 25 HP. Oxy's going to get a third one for the round. Put Bladestorm online and give that over. Yeah, they're going to wait. Grab that, give it over to somebody who needs it like Vic. And they'll get another one online too. So Cloud9, after what was their timeout and a bit of extended time, they do get the round in their favor. And Oxy's operator is going to be online.
That was 2 big ults being utilized by C9 as well, though, to salvage this round. Thankfully, on net, in terms of the information he's able to grab with the neural theft. But look at that push. Not afraid of losing HP.
Well, smart. You got to play exactly how your opponent expects you not to. And Oxy playing inside his opponent's head there to know what they were thinking and get those forward pushes. Stuff you love to see, and he's finally turning online here at the beginning of the map.
Ults are still available that are pretty good for Cloud9. The Hunter's here for Mitch. Sentinel's not popped in to go for any orb control at the beginning, as you do have Nerid being 1 away from the Nightfall and Bang from the Cosmic Divine.
Easy. They have the 2-2 pinch on this from Street. And over towards lobby or A main control already here. So Sentinels is doing some good work to get themselves in between and possibly behind the defense.
And they're just stomping through to break that trip, so they have that confidence, knowing again that C9 likes to play towards the extremities because of these trips, informational trips being set up here by Net. So look at the chaos that they actually create now. How much space is being given out? They have to watch their backs. Now they lose full control of middle, which gives a chance here for Sentinels to really try to smother any type of snack that's happening towards Cloud9. And they're about to pinch towards the A site where maybe Zeppa has a TP out, and that's going to leave Vic alone.
Vic's ready to be seen, but just one. He tried to take it out before it got all the way to Oxy, so they can still throw a bit of a fake into this. Almost a lineup there. Zeppa's able to come back and trade out the damage, though. Very low health, and he goes down to the hands of Narrate. As Mitch from just on the other side is able to tag in some damage. 3v3 as Sentinels try to hunker down in A.
Mitch still has full util as well. Starts with a recon to get a ping.
Oh, that little duck after he hit the shot. Oxy's going to come flying through with the Blade Storms. They do find it's John Cutie in A main. And it's a main fragger in Oxy. He's going to go ahead and get another one for the team. And Mitch gets that defuse.
Looks like C9 is able to refocus. Coming back here from this pause. And they've been looking pretty clean and on point, especially Oxy at the helm of this. Remember, we mentioned he was fairly quiet on that first map, but is having crucial kills going into the second map. A double kill he had on the previous one, 3 into this round, or 2 rather.
Nice, guys, let's go, baby!
Yeah. And while feeling enabled there, Oxy, he's going forward knowing the team will have him. Like, nobody can trade those angles, but they can trade the chaos that Oxy creates there. So very much behind each other on those plays where he's flying through and up over top.
It's a very passive camera all the way towards the bottom of the streets. It spots 3 players and Sentinels. They want to pivot very quickly on a split towards this B site. There are 2 good trips being set up by Net, so he's going to try to utilize here any smokes that's being thrown on the attack to go for kill trips.
Smokes everywhere. Zeppa tries to peek out of one, but gets taken down by the Stinger. That means it's Sen trying to work fast here with a few of those low buys around the bigger weapons. Oh, a Vine kill onto Mitch. Nicely placed by Zelsa. Still have control of the site, and this is getting a little awkward. His Net can grab one, but it looks like Sentinels come through hard enough to make this round theirs.
Fortunately, Oxy couldn't get that pick onto Narrate. Gets the wallbang down to about 50 HP. Of course, he's got a regen shield with the HP remaining, but man, that was looking pretty close here for C9 to be able to get some success out of those trip kills. But lots of utility coming through for Sentinels on the execution towards that site. The Razor Vines, the Salvos, they couldn't really find good positions to play around the smokes. They tried to get those picks, and it was Sentinels all over in this current round to open up this B site. At least Oxy still has the op moving into the next round. Vic still has the Cosmic Divide for the retake. Now trying to play aggressively in these corners towards that right side, or the right side here of this B site.
I'm saying is speed is the name of the game now. If you know Oxy has that, has that operator, are you just trying to get behind and in front or close to it really fast? So Oxy's kind of deleted on those long-range, hard-angle shots. See, he had to save the operator that time, and Sentinels just fly into B. And it looks like they love covering this side of the map, at least to start here.
And a small change, again, because we just talked about how Sentinels likes to be fairly aggressive. W push down towards Art to try to break trips. Now they're going to try to leverage Oxy with the operator, try to get a pick towards middle.
That's such a scary spot. They can flood into Art so fast, but he does have the help there from Mitch. A little bit of a street fight here going on. That's going to win that one. Does he have assistance from the team as they start going back and forth in the alley? Narrate trades it back here as they slowly move down and start to execute on B.
Unfortunately, he can hold it well enough here towards the street to funnel him back towards the up of Oxy. So Sentinels now could creep up and split towards his B site. Hesitating a little bit here, just trying to find the information where the players of C9 are.
They avoid this Armageddon, which is nice, but they can't avoid Bang. Another one through. John Cutie's going to be able to get the trade, and they swing in. Mostly through streets and that few from long still. Even if the op was there, it looks like they can circumvent it with their pathing. Oh, dear. Mitch, a little bit of a hot foot, has to move out of that situation here. The operator very close to going down in this situation. Economy is still there for another buy come in. No, it's not for C9. They need to come up big on this round. Oxy switches out. Sentinels trying to hold it near ring one. Zelsis versus Oxy now. possibility of getting half, but he's going to go for the fight, and it's going to be Zelsis again in the clutch moment.
Zelsis, so many 1v1s. He's closing out in this series. From Ascent over the Pearl. And C9 almost converting. Amanda's advantage on a retake.
Oh.
So nice on the positioning from Zelsis. The patience that he comes across. Doesn't want to push forward even if the spike's being tapped. He knows he has 7 seconds at least, or 6 seconds at least to work with before the 7-second defuse comes through.
Oh, and this buy.
Staying cool.
They are looking for loans on this one. Reaching out, we got Bulldogs, did have a Stinger. Operator, Phantom. C9 needs to be able to back each other up on this one so they don't all fall to the wayside. That was a very big win for Sentinels to make it a 4-round gap. And already messing with this utility. They are making C9 sweat on these rounds. C9 doesn't really get to play the round the way they want right away.
Such good calls coming out from John Cutie.
Jeez.
Punishing everywhere. Oxy's trying to get some leverage out of this operator. Util to push him away right into the crosshair of another. Yeah, it looks like they have to take fights everywhere across the map here for Cloud9, so you have no choice but to move around and stick in those players that has no util to help them with, so they're leaning towards an ace-line stack.
And if this is a spike down for Sentinels, they're reading that they can get all the fights they want before they even have to take the site, as C9 is kind of in a position where they're hungry. They want to be first, so they're putting themselves in these dangerous one-and-dones, and they're always traded by Sentinels.
Pathing looked pretty good, though, for Zeppa. Just unfortunate that he couldn't get a double kill after net. Got fully flashed by the double swing towards the B site. And Sentinels, every time they finish towards B, so far in these executions, they're always up on the 4 versus 2, 3 versus 2.
That's a great point. When's the last time we really saw them go A? When they did, they got crossfired by C9.
Not only that, but C9 can't really find a way to really stop this early push or the mid-rounding from Sentinels working from this mid-control that they have back into the B site. It doesn't even matter if C9's trying to rotate Net's utility towards this B site. They're just sorting down any type of setups that Cloud9's currently doing.
Defeated.
They who are so good on the defensive side of Ascent has trouble finding solutions here on the map of Pearl.
And now 7-2 here as Sentinels are looking quite unstoppable on their selection of Pearl. And we know why they pick it. They look clean. Their defense and attack side are clean. And already, bang, lighten up this round to get the operator off the map.
I found him, I found him.
I have died, and he is right here. Okay, so this becomes the C9. Keep inching in when we can in that economy. Look at all the regen shields just to have shields and get in this round.
Signature buys for Cloud9.
Yeah.
Kill trip towards the front of the site. You have trips as well towards the A side, so they're trying to leverage Net here to anchor as much as he could.
Ooh. They turn into it. Attacks from A main as well on multiple fronts here. They're trying to figure out what they can look at and what is actually the problem. And Second is the only one in here, and he's already getting a ton of information for the team before the take.
Got hit by the tripper recon. Didn't he get wallbanged?
Yeah. He's been close. Mitch, health going up a little bit there.
Oh, they know the flank.
And they're looking. It has reset. Narrate turns away at just the last moment, though, and this could be the line for Oxy to get the first shot on. He misses. Zekin's able to take down Zeppa in sight. Oh, it's just too much. C9 are overwhelmed. They move forward too quick and really are kind of deleting C9's opportunities back into the site before they get there.
Just looking at the macro out for Sentinels on the attack side, the condition that they have, always working towards middle, pushing Oxy away, and suddenly in the previous round working towards the extremities, and C9 weren't ready for that one when the dimensional drift came through, noticing they're playing anchored within the site, trying to play around kill trips once again.
And that was what, like 3 conditioned rounds towards B?
Exactly.
And then they finally go A.
Now you're seeing Sentinels it's a similar storyline as Ascent. Just back and forth it went, even if Sentinels won the bonus. Cloud9 found ways to catch up for a bit into a 4-2 scoreline, but then it could potentially now be A 9-3, 10-2 half for Sentinels going into the second half. But thankfully, Zeppa, gets the first blood with the Sheriff buy. That C9 has the defense from Moxie.
Okay.
Clean shots.
I mean, this is what it takes right now for Cloud9. The low buys trying to get under the skin of Sentinels here. I mean, you're not going to get this every round, so they better use the advantage they have coming out of this one immediately. Still, we've seen the 2v4, and it's not even guns for C9 this time.
Crosshair placement could be good again.
Last player standing.
Can Vic finish it off? Bang goes for another one. An ace on the board all by himself here. Zeppa and Net are left. Has to deal with the flashes. And the uplink shows exactly where he is.
That's huge, though. Not getting spammed after the hat came through, and he survives. Now he can play around the map.
He's got
Keep
one
C9
star.
guessing.
Without it pulling them in.
At least weapons got picked up now. 2 rifles on the side of C9.
Bang. Bang with the ace. Bang with the Red Bull clutch. Another iBuyPower ace and another one from Sentinels in this series. Remember to keep hitting up the iBuyPower socials at iBuyPower. Hashtag unlock your ace and get those gift cards and goodies. $100 of each in merchandise. My God, these guys are delivering the game and to the fans today.
Sentinels fans definitely are getting some goodies so far from highlight reels coming out from these players across the board. Mentioning clutches out from Zelsis. Aces on this first map or second map from Zekit first, then now onto Bang.
Yeah.
Nary doesn't even have a chance to play the game. Everybody's just getting his kills. But now 9-2 scoreline, last one of the half. Op is back in the hands of Oxy, and again, still trying to find an answer for Cloud9. Back into the double duelist, trying to play some sort of high-low. Back towards Art, trying to stop the push here from Sentinels, who are staying all the way back towards spawn in the very beginning.
Man, I don't know what it is. Whoever C9 is playing, they got that playoff plot armor, man. They just, these rounds, it look like C9 will come back. Some other aura just stops it from happening. And now, Sentinels, like you said, look like they grabbed the 10-2, especially after they identified the op. They've been able to move around Oxy so well in these games so far and not really allow him that pop-off moment.
Well, they already used Narrate to throw some prowlers towards the A side first, then going for the ping into the B side. So Sentinels looks like they really want to try to hit this first and leverage here. Narrate on the backstab if they can.
30 seconds left.
All right, Steel Garden pushes just out of sight. Armageddon actually takes the right side of Steel Garden that's available and where they might be able to exit. Oh my God, Bang just going for the full drive-by. Zeppa's gonna punish that. Zeppa's gonna punish that. The 3K coming in, the spike is down, and it looks like we'll get a repeat of Ascent, a 9-3 first half, unless we see the world from Narrate.
We wanted Narrate to get some action, but there's no time left to pick up Spike to plant. Zeppa goes nuclear in the last round of the half to salvage the round for Cloud9 and to bring it back to the 9-3 potential curse and see if C9 can bring this back here in the second half. But man, was it aggressive coming out. They pulled the rotate over towards the B side to gamble correctly here for C9 to just over-rotate and win those fights.
History repeats itself for that first half scoreline, but can C9 write a different ending and bring us to a map 3? We'll find out after the break. Sentinels move to the defensive side with 9 rounds to their name. This was big on Ascent because Sentinels was also able to take that second half pistol round and basically close the door on Cloud9. It is super important that C9 can score this pistol round if they want to stay in.
And it hasn't been looking good on the side of Cloud9. When they had such a good defensive start against Furia, it was basically 11-1 on their defense to close it out on a 13-1, but now no answers at all with whatever Sentinels are throwing round after round. And even when they did, you have one player just stepping up to the plate in Zekin and Bang, pulling up aces.
Let's see if Kaplan has pulled it out of the guys when they're going for the end of the game, that they don't let up any, that they go for that finish, that they find the win that he was talking about between games where they felt like they'd won already and they let off the pedal. C9 will definitely take advantage if they get the chance. We'll see their first strat poking a little bit towards the B side of the map.
Yeah, already Zeppa's down to low HP. And at the very beginning, we're just trying to see if Zelsis has anything set up towards this B site. Unfortunately, it's being set up here towards A. The triple push coming out here from Sentinels 2. So right now for C9, they feel like they have an open sight and it's easy, but they have a pinch on both ends here. If C9 doesn't flip the map to work back towards the spawn, they might be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I like this. How many teams are confident enough to push through that spawn ramp? So they're going to have everybody in sight now coming from the back, and they're going up the street side. They know they need to push. C9 beautifully getting aggressive here, but Sentinels are ready on the deep defense.
But Vic able to get those kills, and he does have a star to work with. That's going to be huge, at least to delay the start, allowing Net to get the pick.
Huge kill from Nat. They're going to try to get hit on the spike. Zekin takes one down. Vic is there. Bang, trying to figure out which side he can get on to get the perfect shot. It's not going to be a repeat from last half. Cloud9 get the pistol and start off strong enough to keep it going.
And that was a gamble coming out from Cloud9. The trip being activated towards that flank from Net. When you saw that Zekin crossed over, they said, okay, well, let's just try to push towards the street instead of towards the spawn. They still had a 3 versus 2 towards the street to win over the fights here for Cloud9, and that's what they needed there. It pays off for them to push out towards the street. They rated perfectly towards the end. And they have a chance to fight back. 2 rifles, one in the hand of Oxy and one in the hands of Mitch. Grouped up together once again.
Yeah. They'll definitely have to protect these rifles. A full stack for Sentinels, predicting towards B, so this should be a nice round for C9 here. If they can find any of the extra kills, get them on Oxy. I wonder if they give him a stinger to go far. Sorry, it's already on Zeppa, rather.
Yeah.
Zeppa to go farm and get some more orbs here once they get the spike planted.
One enemy remaining.
Still nice control. Oh my god, they salvoed each other. Amazing. They know there's no point waiting for spike. No map to jump off. So bring in the salvos.
And not even a chance here to give a plant down. I'm sure somebody just hit the tab. They're like, okay, somebody picked up an orb. That means they're gonna they're gonna move towards the A site, and then you just salvo each other. I think that's very smart. Okay, we got our 3rd player with an ace. Unlock your ace, I guess.
What if you get an ace from all 5 on a team? The ace. Oh my god, the roster ace.
But again, still a smart call here from John Cutie. You don't even allow the extra 300 credits to go across the board for C9 on top of that. No orbs to be picked up on a plant. So you're trying to play at least not necessarily the long game. You're trying to shut it down now, not give a chance here for C9 to snowball the economy round after round.
Zekin's got a great line on B. This focus towards mid and towards A becomes that much more serious here for Sentinels, and Cloud9 is now forced to walk through this gauntlet of defense that's staring right at their position. Oh, crosshair's broken, but Zelsis still finds Oxy on top of the box. They slowly move into this one. They still have Zeppa coming around the outside of this to play a little trickery in the late part of the round. But I think C9 are a little bit in the middle now, and not just on the map.
Drone is down. On the drone spotted 2. Here comes a repinch back from Bang.
Oof. Traded. A little 1-for-1. Mitch with the swing, but actually Vic was looking the other way. They did not have that timed out. Oh, almost reads it. The 6th sense comes up.
Trades
Now,
are perfect.
It's Vic's chance. 26 seconds left, not a lot of time on the clock, so it's going to be a pressure plant once he does get there, but he chooses correctly.
Yeah.
Guardian Angel's watching out for him.
And he knows he has to hurry up. A couple of seconds ago, maybe 10 seconds ago, salvos were being used by John Cutie, so he knows he has to move in for a plant right away. If not, John Cutie gets in range, stops the plant, they win off time. Now still with 4 stars to work with on the side of Vic. Salvo's back up on the side of John Cutie. Zekin has drone with the decoy. And you're going to play the good old Pearl map. Long range all the way up towards the top of the B side. 2 stars being set down by Vic. And the more that you're walking down here for Sentinels, the more chances Vic has to be able to win this round.
Here's the util. Brought in. Actually, just takes him off. I thought it might have gotten it for a second. Oh, he hides it. Oh, down to 6 HP. He gets him through the wall.
No time.
John Cutie. Not enough time. They checked that he was back haul, and it's a Red Bull clutch coming in for Vic. A huge play there from the controller.
And that was a key grab wall being thrown out by Vic. You were so close to getting it to halfway.
Jeez.
But to get him right off the defuse at that point, you have to go back for a full 7-second stick, so somebody has to stay onto that spike.
Is that a joke? Is that a joke?
He almost got punished though because his target selection wasn't going to be on the one that was it was on the one that was diffusing. So if somebody was looking back up on the top instead of looking towards the back of the site, and that could have been a different story. But thankfully though, he was able to escape narrowly at 6 HP remaining. And you mentioned it. Kaplan during the interview with Liz was mentioning on that first map, well, we had a good lead. We can't let up. We can't let them come back. So with that clutch, I mean, they've been flawless so far in the second half with 3 rounds in a row. And as soon as you have, flawless for C9 for 3 rounds in a row.
Right.
You want to make sure here for Sentinel's side that doesn't continue to snowball up.
There was so much more in the Sentinels' arsenal in these previous rounds. Zekin ult after ult, able to throw in a lot more power to these situations that they aren't getting here in the first 3 rounds, and we're seeing how much it's stunting them a little bit. The Sentinels, that is, to get those rounds necessary here to catapult them to a game point again so quickly. It's only 3 rounds away, and a low buy here for Sen means it should be another one rolling over in the favor of C9, and they bring it that much closer. They pressure that much more, and here have a chance to snuff out a timeout from the side of Sentinels, from what Kaplan had to tell the team.
Deploying drone. Right now it's a stack towards this B site for Sentinels with a hero rifle on Zekin. Star is being utilized to try to help out John Cutie to make C9 think that they have a big stack towards. They have flashed through the swing. It's good for Sentinels, but that pivots everybody else here for Cloud9 towards this A site.
They're going in quick. Smokes go down just for a bit of that back pressure. Oh, the team's able to use these smokes so well, too. Oh, Reddit on it. Oh, on the clone. Almost got the kill still, though. Yeah. He's able to help clean that one up on the double swing. The plants come through, and a bit of shock dart damage still lingers on the members of Sentinels from the beginning of the round in Mitch.
2 rifles picked up, though. They could fight towards the back of the site.
Whoa, still jumping. Use my body, he says. Can't pick up the kill still. Even trying to give the teammate help on the jump out there. Zelsis and Bang here, not long for this world, is C9 doing a great job of controlling the game when they know they have it, keeping it locked down and keeping the trades coming. Another round for C9 here as they close that gap.
You still definitely see here that Sentinels are laser beaming their opponents in this eco in that previous round of Cloud9. Hero rifle that was purchased by Zekin still got some value. They dropped 3 weapons on a set of Cloud9 with it. Now that's 4 unanswered rounds for Cloud9 on the second half. Dimensional Drift available for Zeppa, and might be one of those plays again. Try to sell this fake towards the A site TP right away to see if there's going to be any aggression from Sentinels up on the top of the pillar.
And we moved away from any operator game that these teams have been thinking they can put into the mix.
Look back, you saw him.
Ooh, it's about moving fast and faster with these dimensional drifts already towards the backside. Zeppa's looking to create space. He's just toying with these members of Sentinels right now, causing them to back up out of sight. as they get the last bits of info that they can.
It's good that he was able to look back on the top of that dimensional drift here for Zeppa, because remember, it was a long time ago, but on the attack side, it was missed at the entrance. Here's our fight. Attempt to retake for Sentinels.
That feels a little bit awkward. You commit to one wall, and there's just going to be another in your face. Who's going to play the side-to-side better? And it's Sentinels for now. 3v4. C9 looking to pick up a few more kills. John Cutie in a swing towards the backside. A beautiful kill there in the teamwork that they have set up. And they are not allowing C9 that much ground. Mitch, however, from Street. Oh, he throws the Armageddon, but he's pushing. Mitch is always pushing, and he takes down John Cutie. Another round for Cloud9.
Mitch once again stepping up. A 1v1. And you thank the stars of John Cutie that he ran out of bullets in his rifles because he only had a classic to fight back against Mitch, who allows himself to get the pick with the wall bang towards the end. Down to 21 HP. That was so close there. Some good values, good run with that.
Whoa. Net is feeling it right now, my man. Holy moly. We'll hear from Nat, but we usually don't see him standing up out of his seat. Cloud9 is feeling it, that silly.
Enemy tag.
SEN fans right now in the arena don't want C9 to tie up this game. Cloud9 looking for early information on the top of this B. Long. That allows here for Zeppa to start moving up, trying to find where the wall could be set up, and they realize it here. It's actually down towards the street. This is actually a good position here for Cloud9, because they have some great forward position. Zeppa's already in the front of the B long. They could start pitching out towards the street, so I love that we're trying to fight back towards the street, but Oxy could get two here.
Oh my gosh. The crosshair placement doesn't even allow the Sentinels player to get a full swing out from their position. And that's both down for Street. A 9-9 round, looking like we're going to get here out of this. And something happened out of that last Cloud9 timeout that just lit a fuse for them.
Yeah. It almost felt for Sentinels. They were counting too much on the Vice wall from Zelsis that they thought that Cloud9 maybe was baiting that wall instead, and it would have some time. As they snuck around here for Cloud9, they hit around that corner, right at the middle of the street. And it just caught some players off guard and made it easy here for Cloud9 to tie up this game. And the economy is not the best now for Sentinels. They have to go for hero rifles in the next round if they could save these two weapons, if not a full eco, once again for the defensive side.
And they were trying to push Guardians into this round, too, from the side of Sentinels. So you already saw them trying to squeak in the money there just to make sure they could keep it off of Tide. But that will not be the case. C9 are going to keep quite a few alive on this one. The 3K for Oxy as he brings up the Blade Storm. Mitch has the Hunter's Fury, and Vic will end narrate to make it 9-9 now. Incredible stuff from C9. I think it's just the moments they're pushing forward. Like you mentioned, this spot from Oxy, they're not expecting people to be that far up. They're not expecting C9 to just be taking this space so willy-nilly, but they are doing it aggressively.
See that shot?
Yeah, they're feeling it. Now timeout for Sentinels.
Yeah, Kaplan's trying to have the conversation here with the team. We just talked about the economy situation for the defensive side, losing those two weapons at the A orb. They have to go for some sort of a eco. You'll see once we get into the server, just maybe a stinger for some, shares maybe for others, but overall here on the side of Cloud9, they've been doing a great job working around the map on the attack, just like Sentinels did before, but getting much better success out of it with now 6 rounds in a row on their side. Sentinels probably has to find a way to maybe be way more aggressive than they have been in the past, just not only having Zekin alone walking up on the top of this B ramps and TPing away, because the space when you TP out is the space regained by Cloud9. And when they're usually so good with this composition for flood retakes, they just lose, just similarly to Cloud9. A lot of players in the process once Cloud9 gets the plant down.
And we will have a quick tech pause out of here. Oh, I think we will be back with that tech pause quite quick as we see Oxy returning to his seat nice and fast. We appreciate the speed. Thank you for not tripping and falling. And we'll get right back into the action. And yeah, we have the timeout that did just go through. And Kaplan, like you said, feels like they need to sort something out here. That low buy has to go against quite a few ultimates. What can they craft? What can they do to stop C9? I love the fact that you pointed out what they were using the Zelsis wall, right? Because we talk about this. It's not that Zelsis should pick Cypher, but we were talking about how Net used the Cypher cam plus multiple trips to not have to just rely on the one thing, and it does seem like that one thing, the wall, is being slightly exploited here. So, crowd, which capsule? Which one are you picking, left or right? Which capsule do we want? So, SEN? Well, yeah, there's a Tarek. There's a Tarek, all right. What do we got?
Which one do you want?
Which one?
Left, right? Oh, it's with the head.
Sentinels. Okay.
It would be funny.
Oh,
if,
I was gonna say. All right.
If we had a Sentinels fan choose a C9 Classic. No. Okay,
no. Oh yeah. Stage mirror is the thing.
Exactly.
Oh no!
See, we have to choose the ones that don't have the jerseys.
Yeah.
That's a Sentinels hoodie. That has to be a Sentinels Classic right there, right?
On. Find the Thundersticks from C9.
I thought we were half and half. Oh, what?
Oh, wait. No,
there we go.
Okay.
It's paired. I was gonna I thought it was half and half for C9 and Sentinels fans.
What do we got?
Okay.
Yeah, we started picking back up for C9 fans.
What is this now? 4-2?
That's something.
Oh,
that's easy.
5-2.
Yeah. Thank Hubert on that vote.
Chat, what's been your headshot accuracy now supporting your favorite team's Classic?
Yeah, chat, which one are you supporting? What's good? Oh. Caught in 4K.
Dude,
they practiced. They know already.
Rob Moore,
Never
good
confused.
job. Good job having Zelsis shield the Sentinels bundle.
Yeah. Oh.
There we go. Okay, so we got a double C9 in that one. Okay.
Got it. Oh. C9 all day. There you go. We're fine. They're there. We're finding them. Oh, of course. Oh, wait. No.
Mrs. Net, please.
Sabotage by Net's mom. Of course. Tarek mentioned.
Now I was starting getting red right away. I mean, I feel like if the camera's on me, I probably would.
I would whip it. I would
whip
whip it the first time out of excitement. I'd be like, oh yeah, of course. Or I just put both hands up.
I was
going to
say I'd probably
down,
win because I
right?
usually would point both. I purchased like 24 classics from last year. Now my kid can't eat.
Oh. But the teams are eating good.
Yeah, true.
Teams are eating good. Oh no. Okay, yeah. You like put the Tarek down faster. It was like C9. SEN. All these SEN voters.
At least while we continue forward with our fans here voting for the best classic.
Yeah.
Cloud9 once again, they're showing here that they do have a lot of grit.
Yeah, SEN may be winning this, but Cloud9 is winning Pearl right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They're coming back.
They have an opportunity to trade maps against each other as well. First map Ascent picked by Cloud9.
Yeah, we're gonna go team map beat, right?
Yeah.
We beat your map, you beat our map, and then
they'll have to go to Icebox.
And it's gonna go quadruple. It's gonna be better than the Foot BBL game.
If anything, there was a little bit of trouble for Sentinels on the map. Like the series that they lost for the first time, or the only series they lost in Split 1, was actually against Group. And one of those maps was actually on the map of Icebox. And what does Cloud9 usually bring out on this map? Double controller. They played the Harbor, they played the Viper on top of that.
Harbor Viper,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been a pain point for Sentinels when they had to play against Crew for that one. But I feel personally when I was watching that game, it was not necessarily in terms of the macro, but the micro. They weren't really together for these team fights when they're scaling back towards the map. We're definitely seeing it at least so far in this series.
Yeah.
So it definitely could be a different story if this goes into a third map. But speaking about that, before we get into the third map, the second map has to finish. And we get a chance now to move back in. Thank you once again, chat, for your patience. And now back here after the timeout from Kaplan. Only the Stinger's small armor from Narrate being purchased, while the rest here of the team are on Sheriffs. Zelsis with a classic, working together, trying to push up towards middle for control. And Zekin might get punished, though, as he's trying to move up here towards the orb.
All 5 here? They're not even leaving anything towards Art, which is actually a pretty good selection because they'd be running into a whole swath of people. But yeah, this is a very cautious round. I love that both teams have that inkling that something's going to be going down. And they play accordingly in the death ball. SEN may have a little bit of an upper hand here. 2 of those Sheriffs are rotating around slowly. As long as Net didn't check that camera.
He hasn't been checking his camera. This is an opportunity now for Sentinels or even for
There it
C9.
is.
There you go. Okay,
Hello.
now that's information.
And they all start moving forward. They say, okay, no point in going back. We saw one. There could be way more with the confidence of that push. And they're going to slam site knowing that they have numbers. A lot of concuss going down on the backside. Give it a quick shake and you'll be reset here now in the eyes of Mitch as the Hunter's Fury burns across A site. The pings go through. The VIP protection is there. Get down, Mr. President, says Oxy. They protect Vic on the plant. Celsius and Air both fall to the wayside now. And now it's just the Sheriffs to do work as they are found at the end of Mitch's Phantom.
You could use a dimensional drift. Although tapping the spike, dropping some players would be kind of good here for Sentinels. But it definitely does feel, that it should be a C9 round.
Yeah, this is going to be a very tough pincer.
Hold on.
Wait. They let the 1v1s happen, and it's going to be too much. It's going to be bang.
This is round,
Pushing
guys.
forward, going for the defuse, half from Zekin. They time it correctly. The gun delivery is there too. Everything, and the kitchen sink for Sentinels to pick up that round coming out of the timeout.
How the heck did that happen for Sentinels to turn that around back in their favor?
I think at the last point, they had everybody, they feel like the site was safe, so everybody left the site. Then there was no one to play off of, there's no contact, everybody's setting up util all at the wrong moment, leaving that window for Sentinels.
There was a window of opportunity at the very beginning when Sentinels were actually closing that gap and closing it to C9. And when the camera saw so much, though, that should have been like, okay, we know exactly where we're at. We should maybe flip the map over towards Art. And they did. But somehow the shots are landing better here for Sentinels in this series, who now finally are able to salvage a round in the second half, get the first run on the defensive side, off of Thrifty to build the economy. This might have been the swing round that they needed. Timeout was supposed to be for this round here for Sentinels to pick it up.
Yeah, they make the Sheriffs work somehow. Huge style. Now pushing towards the site. We saw Oxy just towards A main trying to get through the window in Art, but they decide to go right through Art with 3, a 4th coming. And it's only going to be Vic on the outside. Sentinels is very ready for this defense with 3 already there.
They're just trying to delay here so that Celsius can rotate across. If there's going to be a second wave pushing in by C9, you have the ult from Celsius for them to flood back within.
Waiting for a peek, waiting for any type of push, but they're not getting an inch from Sentinels. They may have a bit of a route here from street around the corner, but look at this, already set up by Zelsis. They've left the util there, the guard was running.
He's going to try to ult to delay this so that Zek can get his value towards the back of the site.
Spike still going down. They're trying to plant it within the firefight here. Zeppa able to get one. Mitch coming flying out of there. Gets taken down by Zelsis. Oxy's playing the forward motion. He's trying to stop him before they can get to the site here, and it's going to be tough as 4 very healthy members of Sentinels are about to break down the door into B site. All the members of C9 are here. They're not trying to go down long. They're trying to fight it as soon as it happens on the doorstep.
The salvos are back up. Here comes a flood from Sentinels.
Oh, Oxy just between swapping weapons out of the Blade Storm is not going to be enough for him. John Cutie answers as well, and they're going to be able to pin down Vic for that final hit. And the defuse coming through for Sentinels.
Huge game plan for Sentinels off that timeout. It's just to have Zelsis run back and forth to get that ult ready to just help out on that second wave push from Cloud9. Great delays coming through. They had to use both of their ults, though, at least to try to win the round for Sentinels, but you'll definitely take it. Swinging 2 rounds in a row on the defensive side. But what a push coming out as well. Zekin did die at the very beginning, but Zelsis was there to support, to delay, to give a chance here for Sentinels to just recoup and fled back. And Nimi is not happy with the results out of that one, especially when they had great pulse plan positioning.
Yeah, they're going to get a timeout out of that. Amy pushing that button right away. And this was, C9 did have a few rounds to their name, if we remember. 6 in a row coming into this half, so they've got some money built up. Not a problem there. This one, however, will be pretty tough and get towards resetting their money. They may have one more broken buy, and that's, after this, going to be game point for Sen. So huge rifle round here coming in as Imi calls the timeout. No ultimates online right now for Cloud9, and they're pretty far from the big ones. So this is going to be all about util, all about structuring the round, and getting themselves into the site with teamwork.
That is definitely the silver lining for Cloud9. 6 rounds in a row. They still have Akon to work with, but we just talked about what was going to be the pivotal round for Sentinels, that Thrifty that he got in round number 19. C9 wins it, loses this round. You mentioned a broken economy, but that would also put Sentinels at series point.
For sure.
And now out of this timeout, C9 looks like they want to pivot here towards the A side, but these double stars being set down in the very beginning by Sentinels will not allow for you to really get early orb control, even being denied, as John Cutie picks that up. And that could have been huge there for Zeppa to start, as he's been in win condition here for Cloud9 to at least get good information if he's able to get this dimensional drift.
Crossfires are a little scary. Yeah, Sen starts to back off just a little bit with how far Zekin is up on the other side of the map. They know one of these sites can get hit very hard, so playing the one and dones for Sen is super scary. They are all anchored in sight now on that A side.
And you see how they're playing a lot more passively for Sentinels this time around, with the exception of Zekin. They've been really good playing on the extremities of the map. The salvos from John Cuter are very good to delay.
Yeah.
But also, within the last few rounds, they've had the opportunity to play to their strength in terms of a team to play the flood retakes. And Sentinels has been faltering, trying to defend the post plant.
Straight into sight. Not much util to go with it. Just the default stuff. A flash, a smoke, a dash. And it's not enough to throw Sentinels for a loop here. Oxy does find himself a weapon and pretty healthy to boot.
And he gets the Armageddon with that kill too. Beautiful haunt being thrown by Narrate. Now the win con here to try to survive. It's probably not going to happen. Now you're pushing him once again off another plant. Celsius is lurking through.
Oh, Celsius. Oh, gets one, gets the second on that transfer, and he's able to hold it down to keep the Phantom screaming. And this is going to be one of the toughest rounds Vic has faced, and John Cutie will be right there to sit him down. Match and series point for Sentinels.
Because we looked at Cloud9 with the amount of times that they were playing on their attack side, but also investing into half shields often, being one of the key prominent teams that also plays on a lot of regen shields, they're actually able to muster up potentially a last stand. Another rifle round coming out, Guardian in the hand of Net.
A push every single round. He's done it every round. They just get to figure it out this time.
But C9 hasn't been pushing towards this B at the top, so they never understood that Zekin was pushing up, and Zekin's everywhere once again.
Zekin wants to clean up this final round already. 2 to his name. They're running away from him towards his team.
Into the vice util.
Bang. Look how safe he's playing, too. Even knowing they have such an upper hand, you're not going to take the fights that could get you to go down. Zalsis falls, but there's still so much here for Sen to use to take control of this round. And now the 2v4 from Cloud9's side. Can they produce the same result their opponents did previous in the series?
You definitely want these two players alive here to try to win it for Cloud9, and they do so.
Vic, full health, regened up, and they know where he is for a moment. Peeks to Zekin. Zekin's got it! The 3K, the finalizer, and Sentinels will take down Cloud9 in 2 maps.
A dominant performance by Cloud9 on Ascent and also on Pearl. Well, they had to fight a bit for that second half, but they still managed to pull this through and push Cloud9 to the lower brackets, where now Sentinels still has another chance, another victory that they need to play against G2 to try to qualify to Toronto. But at least in this series, Zekin was such a treat to watch.
That was incredible stuff. We set up the 2 high-octane players of Oxy and Zekin in there. Zekin came out on fire. Really supported from the team behind him. The rest of the squad shooting hot as well. We got the aces in here coming in from Sentinels today. They were on a different level, and when they needed to adapt, Kaplan stepped in, gave him some words of wisdom, and the adaptation was there.
Yeah, and for sure. And when you're looking also at the performances, we've hyped up and saw the clutches coming through from players like Zelsa, for example, but the aces that came out from Bang as well. But Nary, on an agent like the Fate, he doesn't have an opportunity to play as aggressive as he does on a solo on different
he's
maps.
setting you up.
Exactly. 16 assists that he has on that map on Pearl, being a key component, valuable for Sentinels to be able to get so many good wall bangs, prevent C9 from getting those plants in the final moments of the second half, and to allow here Sentinels to continue to move forward in the upper brackets of the playoffs of the VCT Americas.
And G2 definitely be looking at this one because they played well. As for Cloud9, they head down to the lower bracket to face Evil Geniuses and plagued by those playoff woes, man. Will they be able to shake it? They still played well, and they're showing that sparkles of hope, light at the end of the tunnel, but the adaptation, as they had 6-round lead,
yes,
it seems like it can flip so quick, and that should not be able to happen.
Yeah, at least on a half. But overall, they also have had very slow starts.
They have
9-3 halves on the first and on the second one. Something that maybe is a similar story to what C9 was last year when they said they had very slow starts, losing first maps all the time. But you had to play the comeback. You had some hopes going into the Ascent second half, how it started in the second half here on Pearl. But unfortunately, couldn't push this into the third round.
And we see Sentinels. It's not going to be their map pool that takes them out, I guess. They're able to kind of stretch it a little bit further here. We're still working out that fracture, but Ascent was quite clean, and they showed us that it was no problem, and it's something that's been in the back pocket.
Yeah, especially when Sentinels, and even at the desk, Bren was mentioning that they're only like a team with a 3 map pool, but Ascent, they show that they can play that one as well, and maybe it's just aces under the sleeve.
Gotta wonder what else they have. All right, that's it from us. We're going to send it down to Elizabeth down at the stage for the Verizon post-match interview with John QT.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. You give it up. You know you want to cheer for him. It is John Cutie, everyone. Now, my first question for you is, you're still the IGL, correct?
Of course.
Why is Bang in the middle?
I don't know, just a vibe change.
A vibe change? Why do you need the vibe change?
I thought we had some struggles on stage, and we thought like maybe changing the seating order would help. I mean, so far so good.
So far so good. I mean, you took down Cloud9 2-0. Something I want to ask you is, I talked to Kaplan about the question about your map pool. You know, we now have seen your Ascent after over 200-something days of not seeing it. We still have not seen your Fracture. As the leader of this team, is your map pool something you still want to work on? Is something you're not very concerned about?
Yeah, I think our map pool is great. I think people might think we're not aware of it or like not working hard, but we are working hard and trying to like fix our issues, which was our map pool. And obviously we go like hard every day trying to improve and try to fix our maps. And you looked at our Ascent, it's great. And yeah.
What about your Fracture?
We're keeping it for a big day.
Big day. Well, that big day could be coming up because you're facing G2. Winner qualifies for Toronto. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling great. Very excited. Obviously, G2 is the team to beat right now, and I think we're up to the task. Yeah.
Something I want to ask you as a last question is a SEN Bites video uploaded 4 weeks ago. You talked about how you were homesick. You know, you're from Morocco, Rabat, Morocco. And no, not Rabat. Are you from Rabat?
Casablanca.
Casablanca, thank you. But you talk about being homesick. You know, they took you to a Moroccan restaurant. You're 6,000 miles away from home. You don't get to go home too often. What is that like?
I mean, it's definitely difficult. I'm like the only import in America, so I'm kind of alone out here. But it's all good. Like at the end of the day, I do what I love, and I have like a very like close family and my teammates and like everyone on Sentinels, and like I have other friends, so it's not too bad. And I feel like I have a lot of weight on my shoulders. Not a lot of Moroccan pro players, or like even in the MENA region. So I just try to put on a good face and try to like inspire other people. Yeah.
I think it's safe to say you've inspired so many people, and I think they're all here in the audience. People who adore you, John. Well, thank you so much. Give it up! Come on, give it up for John one more time. And we have match point, friends. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Liz. I'm joined here at Matchpoint by 3 fellows who just walked away with massive wins, Alsis Bang, and then, of course, Kaplan. Guys, congratulations on the win. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about what happened, what went right, what went wrong, and then kind of a little foreshadowing into the future. But first, I want to play a little game, right? You guys just got done playing a very stressful, high-stakes match, so let's play something a little bit more low-key. Our pros live inside of Valorant. You guys know this. They mess with agents. They know really everything in and out of the game. But we're going to play Guess the Origin, where you're going to have to guess where the agent is from.
I feel like this is harder than the series. I'm
you
not
think
gonna
so?
lie. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, Kaplan was talking a pretty big game.
I'm 100% it.
Yeah?
Easily. I'm going to fail.
I'm right there with you. A lot of it's going to be on you, Cap. Let's go ahead and we'll pull up the first one. I'm going to give you an agent, and you guys just have to tell us where it's from. The very first agent is Reina. Guys, there's
Mexico.
no way. Yeah, that's an easy one.
I'm seeing if they got it first.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, we'll guess first.
All right, sure.
Yeah, that was a disappointing dad
Well,
look
see,
on the
if
first
you're not
one.
confident, you pass it to me every time.
sure,
I got you.
Wait, our answers, like if me and him guess, are not the same percent that he gets.
Yeah,
Like he's our final boss.
Yeah, we'll bail. Yeah, he's
All
the
right,
safety valve in case things get a little sideways. Can we confirm just for the people at home where Rain is from? Mexico.
Nice.
Perfect. Well done. You bailed him out because that look that you gave Bang, deer in headlights. You were cooked, bro. You had nothing. Let's pull up the next one. Astra. Oh, I'm sorry. I trolled. Not Astra. Viper. Sorry. Viper.
Russia.
United States.
United States.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
I know that one.
Whatever. Good job.
Did she sound Russian to you, the voice lines?
I don't know, bro. I'm just throwing shit out there.
Nice, that's good. I like that guess.
Is it confirmed the U.S.? Nice. Very nicely
Let's go,
done.
guys.
I'll take
You
that.
were
Stay in
crispy
school.
on that one.
Stay in school.
All right, up next, Astra.
I don't know. Astra? I have no idea.
It's kind
I'm a
of
little nervous about
kind
this
of
one.
kind of a hard
You
one.
don't know?
I'm gonna go with Kenya.
Can I give you guys a hint?
Yeah.
We'll take a hint.
It starts with a G.
G?
Oh yeah.
Go on. Say it with your chest.
Ghana?
Ghana.
Gonda?
Gonda.
Gonda?
Gandhi.
I don't know.
Ghana. Yes. Ghana.
Between the G and then bailing him out of Gonda, I think we got there.
Listen, I'm not a geographer guesser guy. You know what I mean?
All right, what about number 4? Cypher.
Oh, Morocco, right?
Morocco.
Morocco?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean.
I don't,
Yeah, that was it.
I mean,
That was it. Yeah.
I don't know. You're
I don't know.
guessing. I don't know.
I know. I mean, I feel like you would know.
Good job.
Good job.
There has.
Good job,
Do
guys.
we let Zelsis sit on this last one by himself for a little bit?
Yeah.
What?
Is it that obvious?
Yeah, just no. Well, no. I mean, let him make him sweat a little.
Okay.
bit. You guys have
I'm already
bailed him out of
sweating.
all of
Sure.
this.
I'm already sweating.
Sure, let's go.
All right, let's see how he does on the last
Okay,
agent.
fine,
Harbor.
Harbor? India.
India?
India?
My brother. Very nicely done.
Yes,
Very nicely done.
Nice.
I was a little worried for putting you on the spot, but you delivered.
I was kind of scared. It got like too quiet in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like too quiet.
It was tension, right? You were building the suspense. I was all for it. All right, let's talk about the series that just took place. I want to go all the way back to SEN. Liz asked you